that we send the data over to as a second copy on site. And then typically what we do was off-site those, but we decided we're not going to off-site them. So you have two copies of that data, one on the actual server where all the action happens, and then on that NAS as a secondary copy of that data. What we had talked about at the last board meeting is that's not the best way to do it, because if something happens to that rack and upstairs with the server in it, like water damage or something like that, you could possibly damage the server and the storage unit, meaning you wouldn't have any of those backups anymore, and that's why we wanted to push them out to the cloud. So when we got here originally, that NAS was there, but it was not hooked up. So there were actually no backups going on. So as a quick remedy, we hooked up that NAS and started pushing the data to it, so you had that second copy here. While they were doing that, they realized that the licensing that you were using was not the right one because it's not able to back up the paper-cut server. And if that something were to happen to the paper-cut server, it would have to be rebuilt, which would take, I couldn't tell you how long, but it would take a substantial amount of time to rebuild that server. And in the meantime, all the patron services that provides would be down. So at the very minimum, we want to use this new backup software that's quoted now to make sure that we're backing up that last server.
Do we have to pay for that backup software, or it's coming in this $100 a month?
No, it's a monthly cost.
So it will be only $100 a month, there's nothing else that we have?
The only other charge that we would have is if you decided to send it out to the cloud. Otherwise, that's it. And you know, maybe a half hour to configure it, but that. No.
Do we have to send it to the cloud?
No, you don't. I mean, we highly recommend that, because if something were to happen to the building, you want to have it somewhere else where it's safe. But you know, we can take it baby steps here too. That's fine. I'd rather get this done than nothing.
Because whatever they told us, whatever they're backing up, it's not that.
It's not vital statistics.
That's the word.
It's not vital statistics.
Yeah, I can't speak to exactly what data is on that server, but I know that it acts as a file server, so any files that are being saved, you know, Word files, Excel files, I'm sure the board packets and stuff like that are saved up there, so if something were to happen physically to that, or say some sort of encryption or a hack, and they got a hold of that data, then that's where you would run into.
So if we go with that one, we will not need the other company.
Exactly. So that quote or invoice that Joanne got, we would not need.
Okay.
No, we would only go with what's the quote in front of you, and then if we can work that off-site storage to the cloud into the budget at some point, that would be what I would recommend.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so, I don't have any.
I think it's okay.
Because for sure we should, with the cloud, we're not doing cloud.
The cloud, we were advised from the previous,
Well, that's something that,
Yeah.
it's calendars and kids, it's nothing that.
There was no vital
It was-
statistics.
right.
It's
It was nothing-
it's just things like our
Flyers.
minutes, flyers, the monthly magazine,
we don't
that
need
Just
kind of
pronounce
stuff.
all
Yeah.
this stuff.
So we don't need that.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of keeping things running
We
smoothly,
don't have some
and that's what you would do.
operations there.
Yes.
Make our machines run smoothly, make that thing up there in the, under the cooler run smoothly.
Yeah, it's just going to make sure that we have all the servers are backed up instead of all but one.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Okay, yes.
But we don't have any, it's not like it's the vital statistics that, yeah.
And I could certainly find out exactly what is being backed up if somebody would like to see what that is to confirm what you're saying is accurate. So I have no idea what's up
Joanne, you know
there.
what's being backed up.
No, not really, I don't.
You don't?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
So,
No, I'm not the IT person, so I.
yeah,
So we
so,
don't have an IT person.
We do, well, he's right there. He's sitting right in the chair.
yeah, well, I'm the account manager, I'm not the engineer, but.
No,
But I can certainly find out what folders are being backed up, and I can give you a list of that, and then you can say, hey, this is what it is. But we back up the servers entirely, so it's not, we're not just picking
well, it
certain
would be
folders.
interesting to see what a month's worth yeah, that would be interesting.
Okay,
I would
then,
like to know as well.
okay, then I can get that report for you, no problem. And then that maybe give you a better idea on whether you want to do it or
But
not.
we wanna go ahead with getting this done now, this
The 4 server.
fourth
The
server.
fourth
Yes,
server.
okay.
Absolutely.
All right,
It's
so,
under unfinished business, so.
Okay,
you wanna
so-
do now or later.
so I can take it, however you want to send me that
Yeah,
quote, to send it to me and I'll get it done right away.
yeah, do we have to sign something?
Are we signing this? Is this what we're?
I think the
That's
last
this
page.
one here.
Oh, do we all have to sign it?
No, 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 no,
No,
no.
okay.
I could probably sign it.
Okay.
And it's under unfinished business, so you can vote on it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
It's quote 001058.
That's for for 3 VMs at one physical server.
Exactly.
Okay, then we'll take care of that.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
so then you can figure it out, we'll take care of it.
Yeah, I'll take care of it tomorrow.
And then
then.
if we do 1 month of what should be saved into the cloud, that would be nice, so that we know exactly what we're dealing with, rather than having somebody just
Absolutely.
ethereally telling us something.
Yeah, so I'll get you all the folders that are being backed up currently, and then you can decide what you want to do from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's a good idea.
The other thing she wanted me to speak to was the book locker that has been down. So we had an engineer out here at least once that was troubleshooting it, and then I believe you called an electrician that traced it back from the access point. So there's an access point, which basically means it's a device that provides Wi-Fi outside that locker is connecting to. So knowing I was coming for the meeting tonight, I came a little bit early, and I was just gonna do a little testing with an engineer on the phone. And what we determined is that during COVID, the library approved putting access points on the outside of the building so people could come into the parking lot or on the street and get Wi-Fi access, which makes sense. A lot of libraries did that during COVID. What has happened is that all 4 of them are out. So I went outside and I pulled the one off the west side of the building here, and I took it upstairs and I plugged it directly into the switch. And what that is telling me is that, and I plugged it directly into the switch and it didn't power up. So there's a problem with the actual unit. And what we eliminated was the problem being in the wiring, going from the access point to the server room upstairs. So what we're going to do tomorrow, I'm going to contact the company at Cisco, their Meraki access points, and we're going to see about getting them replaced because something was wrong with all 4 of them, and that's very unusual. So they're under support and they're under warranty, so this should be a very cost-effective solution. We should just be able to replace them and get it going. So I
Do
don't.
we do it pretty quick, do you know?
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going.
Sorry.
That's all right, that's all right. So I'm gonna find out in the morning how quickly we can get them replaced. Swapping them is easy, we just plug them in and they should do their thing. But if we can't get them here quickly, what I'm gonna see about is getting an access point to put in the room where they're doing the voting now, in the window, or near the window, so that device can connect to that access point and get that up and running until we can get the new access points out there. But nobody realized that the other 3 were not working because they weren't connected to anything like the locker. So the locker going down was what alerted us to all 4 being down. So that's what I'll do in the morning. So we'll figure out if we can get that to connect to the wireless access point in the building, at least get that running until we can get the units replaced.
I got the fast as you can, the other ones.
What's that?
And we're gonna get them fast as you can.
Oh, of course, yes, yeah. But just in case we can't get them for a week or something, let's make sure we get the locker back up and running because I'm
Yeah,
sure that's
that's
causing
for-
some headaches.
That's emergency, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do whatever we can to get that locker back up. In the meantime, we'll look at getting them all replaced.
Did you speak to Ron at the front desk at all?
Yeah, I worked with him for about 45 minutes today,
Okay,
yep.
yeah. Okay.
So I left that one, it's up in Joanne's office. I just taped off the cord and stuffed it back up there, so it should be fine with the weather and everything.
Are we paying for those things monthly or?
No, so the access points you purchase, and like I said, you purchase them somewhere, Ron said around 2021-ish. And once a year you have to pay support and maintenance on them. And you've been doing that, so that's why they're still most likely under warranty. But with the support and maintenance, they keep those updated. If you don't pay that every year, they go down, they don't work anymore. which was the first thing we checked to make sure that the support, somebody didn't miss paying the support.
Off your electricity or something.
Yeah,
I got it.
but yeah, it's
No
pretty
more
much the same
freedom.
thing.
No, I mean,
But everything was still under support, so there's no issue with that. So I see this going smooth. Not good.
Good, thank you for checking that.
Okay.
I know it's been driving poor Ron.
I'm sure it is, yeah. And then that's why I wanted to come a little early and see if, sometimes you look at it as not an engineer and look at, some other things, but a higher level picture, so. All right,
All right.
Thank you.
any questions on that?
Thank you for coming.
All right, anything else?
Then we'll take action on this on.
Okay,
and
all right.
finish business.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to audit presentation, Hearne and Associates.
Yes, sir.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is John Williams. I'm with Hearne and Associates CPAs. We perform the audit for the Library District. And I'm going to go through with yourselves today the various reports that we issue with the audit. And it's 2 letters that we issue, an auditor's communication with those charged with governance. That has a title on it. The other one does not have a title. That's a management letter that we issue. And then our financial reports. I'm just going to go through some of the highlights of the financial report and everything too. But the first item I'm going through is the auditor's communication with those charged with governance. This is our letter to yourselves. Basically states that we have communicated already as far as our standards and as far as responsibilities associated with the audit. We stated those in the engagement letter that was issued on June 9th of 2022. We also note that management is responsible for the selection and use of appropriate accounting policies and procedures. We did implement a new accounting standard this year. It's called Government Accounting Standard Board 87 for leases. Doesn't really have much of an effect for yourselves. You did have, as far as the note payable that was out there for a lease that was outstanding, and that note payable is still out there, so it does show on your financial reports. We do mention in this letter as far as accounting estimates that are made for your financials. That includes property tax receivable. We look at your levy that was approved by yourselves, be it the 2021 levy at that point in time, since we're doing the audit for June 30th of 22. We make an estimate as far as what your receivable is as of the end of the year, and also related deferral of property taxes at that time. Going to page 2 of this letter. There's other estimates that are made to your financials. That includes depreciation of your capital assets, your building equipment, other items that you may have on hand and everything too. And the estimate associated with that is really related to the remaining life of those assets. The last item here that we're looking at is your net pension liability, your IMRF. There's an estimate made as far as what your IMRF liability is. In your situation, you do have an IMRF net pension asset on your financial statements. And there's also OPEB, other post-employment employee benefits that are calculated each year too, and that's also on your financial statements as an estimate. As far as the audit itself, we would bring to yourselves, as far as your attention, if there were any difficulties in obtaining information, any processes or procedures that we needed to go through as far as that process and everything too, during the audit, they would be mentioned. We did have, as far as some discussions, as far as some different controls and processes and procedures during the audit. But as far as all the information that we requested, that was brought to us as we needed it to complete and work with yourselves throughout the audits. Next item is corrected and uncorrected misstatements. We do assist yourselves as far as adjustments that are made to your financial statements related to what we call the government-wide financial statements themselves. And that involves as far as your property and equipment that you have on hand, your capital assets, and also any debt that you may have on the books and everything too. So we assist you as far as posting those adjustments that are needed and for the financial statement presentation that you have. If we had any disagreements with management, those would be noted here. We did not have disagreements with management. We did receive a management representation letter that was signed by Joanne, Mr. Montiel, that attested to the fact that we received all the information that we needed for the audit itself. So that was brought forward to us too. If there were any consultations or anything by yourselves, that would be noted here. Consultations being other outside accountants or other opinions associated with that, which we're not aware of any of those. And as far as any other audit findings or issues, we did issue a management letter of some best practice recommendations that we have. That's on our separate letter as far as the management letter itself too. And that's pretty much this letter itself, and it does go through as far as our opinion and how it's associated with the other information in the audit report that we do issue that, and we do align as far as these various schedules that are in the report itself, that they are in a relationship, that they do correspond with the rest of the financial statements, and that basically is what is stated on page 3 of this letter. So again, this is the letter to yourself, since we did have some dialogue during the whole process and everything too, but we do have this as far as a conclusion, as far as where we're at with the audit and everything too, as far as our discussions with yourselves. So that would be our auditor's communication with those charged with governance. Our second letter is a management letter. And this letter is a letter where we recommend and have other best practices that are out there, and also to note some different items that we feel need to be noted as far as the audit process itself. Looking on page 2, one item that we do recommend for the board is, and for the library district, I should say, is a whistleblower policy. The library district has a board of trustees and employee conflict of interest policy. While this policy does cover many issues and keeps all aware of possible conflicts of interest and a related acknowledgement, we also suggest that the library district implement a whistleblower policy. This policy will allow individuals that have concerns to report those concerns and establish procedures for addressing and ultimately resolving those concerns. And this could be as far as from public, employees, board, whoever may have those concerns, that they would be brought up. And that methodology, that's what a whistleblower policy would enable yourself to have as far as that process and procedure put in place. We also recommend an accounting procedures manual. I know you do have a financial policy presently. Accounting procedures manual would really detail a little bit more as far as how you would address different items and accounts, how they would be actually implemented and everything too. We're recommending an accounting procedures manual be devised. This manual should detail the processes and procedures for recording financial transactions. Determine a proper activity and classification of activity is recorded to the proper fund. Responsibilities of individuals involved with the library district's accounting, and provide authority to those who are being delegated authority to approve those transactions. Additionally, this manual should be written with consideration of proper internal controls. I know that you do have, as far as limited staff, but you do want to make sure that you do implement as far as proper controls over all accounting functions and accounting areas and everything too for your reporting. The next item is deficit fund balances. Here we note as far as several funds that you have outstanding that do have deficit balances. That includes your debt service. IMRF was probably the largest one, 62,000 is a negative balance. It's something that you've had on books in prior years and everything too, but we just recommend that you do address as far as any negative balances, bring those into a positive balance in a long term. And you can do that either by your budget process, your levy process, or working with Joanne and Kelly, I know is your outside accountant, Kelly Zavinsky. They can probably assist you as far as that process, and also when you go through your levy with your attorney, so that you do address as far as some of these negative fund balances are on your records. The last item you have here is old outstanding checks. You do have some old outstanding checks that are on your bank reconciliations, and what we mean by old would be outstanding checks that are greater than 1 year old, and the amount of that is $3,731. So we recommend that you do address those checks. It could be issued to somebody who maybe didn't cash it, or God forbid is not with us anymore, but those checks would be outstanding. And what you would do with those is, after a certain time period, you would send those down with other information down to the Illinois Controller as unclaimed property. So it would be something to address from that perspective. I'm not sure if you do have a policy associated with that, but you should have something associated with unclaimed property and old outstanding checks. So that's our last recommendation there. And the last item I was going to be going through is the financial report. And I'm going to go through some of the highlights that I have here. If you have any questions about it, I'm definitely available for that tonight, or I can be contacted with any questions that you may have as far as our report too. I'm going to page 1 of the financial report. And this is our independent auditor's report. If you did compare this report to a prior year, you would notice that it's a different format that's involved as far as the actual setup on here. It starts out, it's used to our prior report that was issued, and it comes from our guides from the AICPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, that it did not issue the report and show the opinion as the first item, which it does now, which really kind of cuts to the chase. What is our opinion associated with your financial statements? And our opinion is that the financial statements are presented fairly, as far as we look at things on overall basis and reasonableness, and make sure that materially that your financial statements are fairly presented. That's in the second paragraph that you see that. You see in the responsibilities of management for the financial statements in the report itself, the management is responsible, and it's yourselves as board and management of the library district, for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and for the design, implementation, and maintenance of internal controls relevant to the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements. Our responsibilities are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material in the statement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinions. Reasonable assurance is a high level of insurance, but it's not absolute insurance, so we look at it as far as looking at this reasonably as far as where your financial statements are and a material perspective of that, as far as our audit perspective on that. Page 2 elaborates as far as some of those areas as far as our responsibilities, that we do exercise professional judgment. We do obtain an understanding of your internal controls. We evaluate the appropriateness of your accounting policies and how you do state as far as your financial statements and how it's presented there. Then we conclude about how you are presenting your financial statements and our judgment and conditions of those. We do note in paragraph here as far as the change in accounting principle that you are adopting as far as the new accounting standard for the year. So that's what's in that separate paragraph. So that's our audit opinion report. I went to it in detail, but it has changed from prior years that you've seen in the past and all that too. So just to give you a better understanding of that though too, as far as responsibilities of yourselves and ourselves with the financial statements. Some of the highlights that I'm looking at, going to page 6. This shows your financial condition looking at June 30th, 2021 versus June 30th, 2022. And overall, you do have, I'm looking at your current and other assets, those have grown from the prior year. Your cash went up by about $260,000, so that did increase your total assets for the year. Your debt did come down as you make your payments on your debt that's outstanding. That came down about $130,000. In your net position, looking at kind of a key area in that net position section is your unrestricted amounts. And you do have an unrestricted negative amount in the prior year of $337,000. That has turned into a positive amount in the current year, because you did have a positive overall net change in your assets too, so that did help as far as the financial condition of the library too, to bring that into a positive amount. So that's in the right direction, obviously, where you want to be. And that's on the overall basis of your financials. Looking at page 7, some of the drivers of how you did get there as far as your activity for the year are associated with, you do have as far as your total program revenues, they did go up a little bit more this year. Obviously we're getting post-COVID lockdown, so you do have more accessibility. A big factor for yourselves was replacement taxes definitely increased
Yes.
quite a bit, so that was that was definitely a good plus for yourselves. That helped the bottom line overall. And your change in that position went from $327,021 to $615,000. So again, that is in a positive position, bringing yourselves to that amount. But again, replacement taxes did go up by $285,000 during the year to assist during that process. Page 8. Looking at this, your revenues, overall your total revenues, your actual amount was more than what was budgeted. And your expenditures were less, your actual expenditures were less than budgeted, so obviously that's in the right direction where you want to be. You want to be in the opposite of that, as far as where you are with your budget. Your long-term debt, looking at the bottom of the page, probably the highlight that I see here is your net pension liability. You see the balance as of July 1st of 21 was $9,000. Now it's actually an asset of almost $237,000, so you do have your IMRF fund as a positive balance at this point in time, overall, not as being a liability.
But you said it was a liability.
No, it's actually that pension asset that you have for the IMRF. That's where that $237,000 is.
But you, at the beginning,
Yes, in the other,
in this one, you said it was a liability.
62,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, as far as the IMRF fund, because that's a separate thing, that's your fund balance that you have with IMRF, that is at a negative balance. This is the actuary report of what your balance is what's owed, an actuarially determined liability or asset of the library district is at 237,000. Those are two different items that we're looking at there, actually.
Okay, well, I am listening.
You are very, I like that.
And part of it has to go with what we owe is based on who is working here and how long they have worked. And
Age groups
it
and
varies,
census,
it varies, it can vary actually from year to year depending on the employees that we hire or who leave. So it's kind of a,
Yeah,
That would
I
be-
just, then I didn't.
it makes it
understand.
confusing.
Sure, oh yeah, I
Okay,
understand what you mean by that.
all right, well, you can, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, not at all. And I'm looking at page 35, I'm sorry.
Page 35?
Yes, ma'am.
Give me a minute.
Kind of jumping back there, as we're speaking of IMRF, you can see as far as the positive balance, that balance that they've determined as being a net pension liability or asset they show as a bracketed amount. And on page 35, I'm looking at column 2021, that's the far left column. And I'm looking towards the bottom at the fourth line from the bottom. And that's where you have the employer's net pension liability or asset, and that's showing that bracketed amount of $236,990 that we just spoke of too.
But it's negative.
But that is a positive negative.
Oh,
Double
it's positive for
negatives.
us, okay, gotcha.
So you're actually funded, the funded ratio is 110%, so you're not under 100%, you're over 100%.
Oh, okay.
That's where the market was as of December 2021 at that point in time for yourselves. So it does show that. It is a great benefit for your employees. You do have that it's well funded as far as your IMRF and your retirement plan for them. The fund balance we were looking at before is how much is being paid into that fund, how much is owed towards it, how much is being levied for that purpose and everything too. That's where that comes up with a different dollar amount that we had seen.
Yeah, we have talked that one.
Yeah, as far as how you're levying and how you're budgeting for that and everything too. Those were some of the highlights that I wanted to go through with yourselves. With the audit
So are
report.
we funding that IMRF enough, or do we need to increase that?
IMRF will send you a rate to fund it at, and you are funding it properly. You are funding that properly as far as what's owed to the IMRF, and that's why you do have an asset amount here. As far as internally on your books, you may not be levying enough for property taxes
So
to
this
go into that
deficit
fund.
comes from not budgeting enough? This deficit in this letter.
Yeah, exactly. And you will,
This is the,
That's what I'm confused about.
go to page 48.
Okay, 48.
This is your actual IMRF internal fund that you have.
oh, it's for me.
And in recent years, you have increased as far as your property taxes that are outstanding. So you do have a net change in fund balance that is positive this year of 15,000. So you did start to whittle down on that negative amount. It was 77,000 in the prior year negative. Now it's at 62,000. So if you continue with that, in several years, you will have that whittled down to zero at that point as far as the fund balance.
So we just continue what we're doing?
Yes, you're in the right direction with that, correct.
Okay.
Correct. Any other questions?
Yeah, on
Yes,
the,
ma'am.
the other, what was the other one, was property?
On the letter?
Yeah. Was it how much was it, property taxes?
Do you mean the one, the
Yeah,
debt service?
yeah, building and maintenance. Now, what about that one? Should we just close our eyes to that one, or what?
Are you looking at the negative fund balances?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Deficit fund balances.
No, I recommend that you definitely work with that. Let me see where your budget is on
I
that.
think that's the one Kelly was explaining to us.
Yes, and,
That shouldn't have been a line on it because we voted no for the building and maintenance fund, so.
okay, well,
there should've-
let's just figure out what we're supposed to do with this.
Sure. And looking at page 49 of your report, and you do show on here, as far as your activity for the year, you do have a deficit, net change in fund balance of $13,000. So there was more that was expended out of that fund than was brought in by the property tax levy. So that increases as far as your deficit amount to that 23,298.
So we are not levying for building and maintenance in the taxes.
You did not levy adequately for the year as far
We're not levying at all.
for building. You do levy, there's a property tax amount there.
No, we're not doing it anymore. We voted
Oh,
not
you
to.
ceased to do that? Okay.
Yes.
Are you rolling that up into your general fund maybe?
Well, that's what we're,
That's what Kelly recommended.
Yeah.
When she was explaining it to us, like it shouldn't be a line separate in the budget. It should have disappeared and came out of the general fund.
Yep, and that's a
With that
definite
goal.
method, definitely to do that.
That's how Kelly explained it to us, that I understood.
Which makes sense. You are putting some items that were already in the general fund for that purpose, from my understanding too.
Right.
So you might as well just isolate it or just bring it into the general fund
And then
completely.
that's where the coding comes from, right, Joanne? Like you can write the general, the 2 digits,
Well,
and
the-
then that it comes out of the
Yeah,
general
the building
fund.
maintenance is a different fund, it's Fund 16.
But if you use the 10, I think was the general fund,
That's the 10 is the general.
but then
fund.
you put that account number and then building and maintenance, so you know what it's for from the general
It's already
fund.
set up that way.
Yes.
and then what about the debt service? What, I don't understand what that is. I'm sorry, I have to,
That's okay. It's a similar circumstance, but let me see what page we have that on here. That would be on page 46.
Isn't that for handling the bond?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay,
So your bond
that's the
payment.
cost of having somebody handle that bond for us. That's what that is.
So on page 46, you're basically at break even of what you expected to pay. You did levy for that purpose from your property taxes to make that payment for the year. So it looks like
I
this,
see it here, okay.
yeah.
Changing fund balance, okay. Okay, all right, that's it, then I see it here in black, right, that makes, that just, it's floating in the air. didn't
Yeah,
mean
and
anything.
you just see it on one page, I agree.
Okay, so next year when they have the audit, they will have the debt service and the MRF, but no building and maintenance. Cause that will be in the general fund.
That's my understanding.
And that's, if that's the way Kelly does it, instructs.
Well, no, you're eliminating building and maintenance.
And then your suggestion for IMRF do nothing, I thought maybe we can do like paying more towards it? Or
We
pay
already
less,
started doing that.
whatever.
I mean, if looking at that particular fund, it looks like you are in the right direction with it. You probably want to look at maybe increasing a little bit more. If you get near the end of the year, see where you're at overall. And if you need to change that as you come to December of '23, see where you're at with your levy at that point in time. You'll know better by June 30th as far as what your balance is in that particular fund. And you can make that decision at that point in time.
Thank you.
Sure.
Now, you recommended a whistleblower policy,
Yeah.
and other things. Do you have some copies of recommended wording
look at
that we
this?
may?
Yeah, I could look and see what we do have out there.
Okay, so we can have something to build, we don't
I
have to do
thought we were just
regulations.
gonna follow Illinois statute, you know, from all the libraries of looking around, we have 61 policies
You
already.
do have quite
We
a
have
few.
outrageous amount of them, and even our lawyer had suggested to get, like, lessen them or combine them into one. Like, where we put this one, and this one on the bottom, left-hand corner, like, see this one? It's kinda like one policy. Some libraries have 20, some have 5. We have 61. It's
I'll do what you want.
a lot.
You can combine them all into one.
Maybe
I
we
don't
will.
think so.
That sounds like a good plan.
Thanks.
Or you can eliminate them all.
Well, some are necessary.
No, who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah, we were just told to get a whistleblower policy also at our audit, so. Our policies are 66 pages, so ours is pretty long.
Well, I asked because we don't have to
Reinvent the wheel.
reinvent the
Yeah.
wheel, we've got verbiage that we can.
Yeah, to work with some verbiage in there, and if you want to incorporate, that's kind of why I mentioned the conflict of interest policy, maybe you want to integrate the two policies together or something, if you want to go that direction. It's your choices on it. But yeah, I can definitely forward to Joanne as far
Yes.
as any whistleblower policy that I have.
And then if you say the conflict of interest,
I was stating that as far as the policy you have existing already, you have a
Oh.
conflict of interest policy.
Okay.
So you may want to combine the whistleblower with
Gotcha.
that if you go in that direction.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Well, thank you for stopping by and going through this and clarifying some questions.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll excuse myself.
Okay.
Maybe.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to consent agenda.
Do we have to make a motion?
That's what, do we have to make a motion?
Make a motion to adopt the
To
consent
adopt.
agenda
I'll make
first.
a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Sam,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Natasha,
Yes.
Sylvia,
Yes.
Marge, yes, Edgar,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, first item, approval of the minutes. Special meeting, March 6, 2023.
We're gonna approve them together. Just ask if there are any
Ask if there's any questions.
So we approve everything all together? Okay. Did anyone have any questions about any other items?
Are we doing the check summary too, the addition one?
Yes, anything.
Just this outsource solutions, that was the gentleman that was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, didn't we get like a package when we got him, or what are these different, there's two more checks to him again? Like, is he using those tokens, or the hours, remember we bought the brick of hours and all that?
Right, and those are the services that we get, gonna be charged monthly for the services that they render for us.
So this is gonna be every month?
I'm not sure if it's gonna be every month, but I know, I have to check with them to see. Let me just look at it real quickly.
I just wasn't sure if there was like the startup
I have
breakdown,
one
like
invoice
from the
over here.
contract, or if this is some new service that they just did.
Do you wanna see this one? Maybe invoice, but,
What does it say on it? What does it say on it?
it's all monthly service, like the whole invoice is with the check.
But this, it's just monthly? There's two checks, right?
There's only one there.
So this is what we should be paying monthly, 2,200 a month?
I could, let me double check with them, but I believe it is gonna be a monthly charge.
Oh, I have another 100 on that one, 44.
So I'll make a note of that.
Okay. Did you sign it, Natasha?
Not yet, I'll do.
Sorry,
My suggestion again is for friends of the library to purchase their own things, they have their own checkbook. Because money keeps going from our fund to their fund and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were gonna reimburse, that's something that, I didn't initiate that was something that someone else initiated, but they are going
I understand.
they're going to
But you
reimburse
remember, I
us.
used to do that, and if I use my credit card, I will reimburse myself with a check from friends of the library check.
Yeah, I don't recall that.
Because they have their own checks and they should be using them. I think even Kelly suggested something like that as well,
So the money's not moving
not moving around
around.
between the friends and the library.
Alright.
Unless the friends are paying for something, so they're using the checks, but we are not supposed to write the checks to them.
Right.
I just remembered that. Other than that, I have no more questions.
Okay, any other questions? We want to make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Second one.
Okay. Sam,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Natasha,
Yes.
Sylvia,
Sure.
Marge, yes, Edgar,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, moving on, secretary's report, correspondence.
The only correspondence would be what's already on the agenda on that OMA response from the Attorney General. but it's on the agenda, under
New business?
new business. So that's really all the correspondence that we received since the last meeting.
So were the minutes done already, either by Marge or yourself, Joanne?
The minutes?
Yeah, it said in the letter you had to have minutes, you had to post it as a meeting and.
No, we didn't do any minutes, that's just something we're gonna discuss
Okay,
when we get to it later in the agenda.
okay.
All right, we'll move on to director's report. Administrative news, financial update, building news?
Well, there is no director, so there is no director's report. The only thing I did want to mention, the email, I sent out 2 emails, one about I received a FOIA request, so if anybody has any
Joanne, I'm having,
any of that information, just send that over to me. Pardon me?
I am having trouble, there's no director's report, but
Right.
emails.
I sent out 2 emails to the trustees. The one was about the FOIA request, so if anybody has anything like that, to please just forward it over to me. And then the second one was the ALA information that I sent out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's, I'm not sure if that's something we're good to go with, but before we would always pay for employees' ALA memberships. And that's something we did in the past, the director would just approve it and we'd go ahead and pay it via the credit card. And they have an annual conference each year, and some of the employees usually go to this conference, but you have to be a member of LA in order to attend the conference so you can get the discounted rate. And I know now the board likes to approve everything, so I was approached that there's a couple of employees who want to join the ALA, renew their memberships, and attend the conference. So these are the figures that I sent you in the email on how much it would cost. So,
Could you refresh my memory when that was, the dates of the conference? Did you have that?
I believe,
I don't remember if I saw, I don't think I saw.
no, I didn't send out the dates of the conference. I believe the early registration runs through the end of this month, March. So it'd be more beneficial if they were to register prior to the early registration so they could get that discounted rate. I believe that the conference might be either in May or June. I'm not really certain about that. So.
It's very beneficial, the conference is very beneficial.
I agree 100% with you, but I think until we hire a couple more people now, we don't wanna take more people out of the library. I'm assuming it's during time like that. And one person that wants to go is part-time. I mean, are we doing schooling and stuff like that for part-time?
Yes, we are.
Certain things are for,
In the past, we have said the part-timers who wish to attend, we did send the part-timers as well as the full-timers. Not everybody goes, it's just whoever expresses a desire to go. Each year usually it's someone different, and some years it's the same people every year, so again, it's your choice.
I don't see it on here, vote on it.
Well, we wouldn't vote on this, right?
No, it's just,
But can you confirm that part-timer is that person leaving
no,
soon?
no, I don't know, I'm not sure where you heard that from, but he has not expressed, I have not heard that, or he has not said anything about leaving.
Okay. I mean, it was told to us, that's why I know about it.
No, no, I have not heard anything like that, and I did, ask his immediate supervisor, and the answer was no.
I mean, I'm all for it 100% as long as we have coverage here. I don't wanna take people away from the library if we
So
don't
it will be for
have
2
someone
people?
to work.
For right now, those are the only 2 people who expressed, interest.
Yeah, I would be for, it, especially if they're showing interest. I mean, it's showing that
Yeah.
they wanna go and.
But they're both from the same department.
Yeah,
We're gonna have
so-
somebody the full-timer, for sure, I would say yes without even
Yeah.
thinking twice. But then who would cover that department?
Well, hopefully by then, we might have a
Yeah.
head of, adult services, and if we don't, there's other people here in the circulation department, can cover.
Okay,
And this is just for a day or two, it's not like it's for a week.
Correct, correct.
yeah,
So,
I'm okay with it,
Yeah, I would be for it.
Yeah.
okay with it.
It's not official vote, but yeah, okay.
but everybody's agreeing, so.
Sylvia, I didn't hear you.
What?
Are you okay with it?
Does it matter, does it?
I wouldn't ask you if it didn't.
My vote doesn't count for anything, you know. Yes, she's for it, she'd be for it.
Okay.
She was for it before we started.
Okay, moving on, department head reports, anything?
They're in the packet, so I don't know if you have any questions on the department head report.
No? Okay, committee reports, none. Moving on to comments from the public. The finance, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Toshi. I'm the principal at Charles J. Sass School in Central Stickney. For many years, we've had a wonderful relationship with the library once our community became part of the district services. And the services that, and the connection to our school with the children and reaching out to the community have been outstanding. We've been thrilled with that. I know with the new opening of the community center, we were really excited about a lot of programming that would be able to be connected again to the residents of Central Stickney. Many who are not able to get over to this facility to be able to obtain some of the services for the public library. So we're really excited. I know there's been some changes recently, and some of the programming that we had heard about coming or that had started are not there right now. So I just wanted to tell you that, you know, we've been really happy with the strong connection, the programs coming into the school, around the community for our students and families, and wanted to share that, you know, any of that support we continue to really appreciate.
Oh, definitely, it's a beautiful building too. We went there for the opening, it's really nice, and we can't wait to start, you know, building up our staff back and a connection with you guys.
So there is a possibility that things will return there?
There is a possibility, yes. It's not a guarantee, but, no, I'm just kidding. I don't wanna speak for everybody, but it's a beautiful space. You know, it's a great community, it's across the street from over there, it's a good location, and it is very nice. And all the stuff that was going on there was nice, so maybe it'll be better, maybe it'll surprise you.
And I'm Jacqueline Bassa, I'm the president of the school board at Charles J. Sass.
Nice to meet you, thank you for coming.
Nice to meet you all. You're doing a great job. I'm a longtime resident of 55 years of Central Stickney, and I'm active with the seniors as well. I spend a lot of time over at the new building now trying to drum up support for the programs that they're trying to put in place. For many years we were not a member of any library district, and it wasn't until 2009 that we were annexed into this library district. It's a very tiny community. It's 4 blocks by 4 blocks. When I tell somebody that I'm from Central Stickney, they said, "Oh, you mean over by Pershing?" It's like, no, we're over the bridge, and that bridge is a mile long, and it's got a tiny little sidewalk, so the kids can't take their bicycles to get here. Public transportation is limited to walking to Archer 4, 5, 6 blocks, taking a bus from Archer to Harlem, another bus from Harlem to 47th, and 47th over here. It's not feasible. So we really appreciate anything that you can bring to our community. In addition to the small residential area, there's also an industrial area going from Central to Austin, which provides quite a substantial tax base. And that's when a lot of this happened, when we were annexed. So we're hoping that we see some return on our investments. Yes.
Well, we were able to annex you because Garfield Ridge didn't want you.
Because Garfield Ridge is Chicago.
I know, but they didn't want you, and we said, well, we want you.
Well,
and we were so happy to get you, and that's why we decided we were going to program you. And the previous person had a very strong relationship with you, and we were so excited. And Marge and I said we're going to make sure that you get your tax dollars value from our library. So we were really very strong in setting up a relationship with you.
I appreciate it just on behalf of the children there, and again,
and the adults. We were working very strong with the adults.
I said maybe get the lady's number and see what they would like, and the board can help them. Just try to help the gentleman out. Obviously, you didn't think of that, so just, ma'am, I think
Will we be able to get a card, an email, or a phone number, just so we can maybe follow up and keep some correspondence? Or we could
I didn't
drive
bring my cards with me either.
Well, that's
But we
okay, you can write it down
email
on
our
a piece of
contact
paper. But we,
information.
but, and also, now, what's,
Lou Viverito?
yeah, he promised that he would have a bus
The
available.
buses are coming here all the
I
time.
believe trustee Johnson did talk to him about that, I don't know what the
Yeah.
outcome was.
My understanding is the bus is available for seniors only.
No, that's not what he said.
It's not, it was never confirmed, it was it was at the opening conversation, it wasn't a formal meeting with him, but he did say, yes, he would do that. He said he has buses coming here 3 times a week, and I know they used to go to the hairdresser on 39th and Gunderson and wait for them. I think they would go there and then come here, so the hairdresser's no longer there, so that frees up a lot of time for at least one bus once a week.
No, they
I don't
have,
see why he would be against programs, but again,
no.
let's
I
work
I
together
can
and
tell
work
you
something
because,
out.
yeah, they have a fleet of buses that take very good care of the seniors in Burbank. They have one bus that they can send out, you have to make your arrangements the day before by 10 o'clock, and then they schedule seniors only. They come from Burbank, they can stop at Central and pick up people in the morning, and then they'll take them. They have 2 people that they take to dialysis. They run every day. It's 5 days a week, they run as long as they're scheduled. They can take them to the hairdressers, to Jewel, to wherever they need to go and back, and they have to be back by 2 o'clock back in Burbank. But it is restricted to seniors only. So it would be nice if they would take the kids, but that would have to be after.
Or at least every now and then, as a
Yeah.
little field trip in a tree. Kids love to go jump on a bus and
Yeah.
rip
You
off
know,
them
We do
seatbelts.
field trips from SAS, and we rent a bus.
Yes,
From,
during the school day, we have rented and paid for the bus to have groups of kids come here for programming. as
Anyway,
well.
but we would love to, we don't know what's in our future.
We understand that you're in a
And we
time of
would
flux.
love to maintain our relationship with Central Stickney.
Thank you.
So,
Absolutely.
because you pay taxes to us. Let's get down to the thing. You pay taxes to us. We must maintain a relationship with you. It's not that we want to, we must. So,
They own the library.
That's
They're
right.
part owners of the
that's
library.
right.
Yeah.
So
Doors open all the time.
you deserve to be recognized as a partner. So we have to maintain a relationship with you. And it's just the way it is.
My doors are open, my phone's there,
Okay.
you know, for the
And,
community.
and the
again,
board,
I-
and the board recognizes that as part of
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
Stickney-Forest
yeah,
View.
uh-huh.
Central Stickney Library.
And just the
Absolutely.
communication.
And one other thing, I want to thank you for renewing the mobile hotspots. I am one of the users.
I think that's one of the best things we
That
have.
went through the waste, that's
That
through
was
a crack
technicality.
somehow, because that should have never happened where
They
a
were
whole
out of
bunch
service.
went out at one time and then they weren't renewed. So
Those
I'm glad
hotspots
you
are
realized
wonderful.
that,
They are.
Yes.
Yeah, those hotspots are really wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people depend on those. A lot of people depend on those.
They were supposed to be renewed automatically. I don't know what happened with that.
But
It
anyway,
happens. But
Yeah.
I'm glad, I didn't know if there was a decision that they might not be renewed or.
No.
or if there
did
was
you have
part-
something that you wanted to say? Did you want to say something?
No, thank you.
You want to say something? Did you want to say something?
Thank you for your time and your attention, and thank you for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Remember, you are our bosses. Remember that, because you pay the
I have
taxes.
the charts. Yes, I do. Taxpayers, then.
That's right, you pay the taxes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you, good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
Bye-bye.
Safe.
Good night.
Thanks for the rest of the meeting too.
You're welcome to stay if you
I have to
want.
go to bed.
All right, moving on to unfinished business.
Yes, please.
First item, OSV VEAM. For the 3 VMs and the 1 physical server that we had a presentation for earlier.
So that's 25 times $400 a month.
$100.
Was that yearly, did he say?
I think it's monthly.
It's monthly.
Okay. All right, I make a motion that we accept that from OSGV, 3 Vs, and a 1.
I make a motion for the AVG,
For
but
the-
Whoa. Okay, this is from the, okay. Because he was saying, Okay, yeah, that's right, okay. All right, we have a second for the,
Sam second.
oh, you did, okay. Debbie,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Natasha,
Yes.
Sylvia,
Yes.
Arch, yes, Edgar?
Yes. All right.
Just before we continue, what are we doing with the signing of the checks?
They accept one signature.
Okay, thank you.
Should she sign her name twice, just in case it's the same signature?
Just sign on both the line,
That's
both
what I
those
mean.
lines.
Oh,
Sign
over
twice.
both lines, okay, gotcha.
So they don't kick it back for a blank line.
Yeah, but she said
Might as
that,
well just sign two, yeah.
You put this
Okay. All right, Pitney Bowes postage machine.
I make a motion that we do not need the Pitney Bowes postage machine.
Second,
Thank you.
absolutely positively get rid of the thing.
who second? You did?
Sylvia.
Sylvia.
Okay, Debbie?
Yes to no.
Right?
Yes to no as well.
Yes to no.
Sam?
Yes.
Okay, Natasha?
Yes.
Sylvia? Yes, Sylvia?
Yes.
Marge, yes, Edgar?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, item C, director position.
I did phone interviews, as I mentioned, with Lauren Kay and the other one, Rebecca. And the third one, I had scheduled an interview, but she canceled on me. There was some emergency, so she was no longer able to interview. And I gave you my recommendation on Rebecca. Out of two that they did phone interview, she was the most qualified. I haven't got any more resumes.
So we only have the three?
That's it.
Could I make a
And we
motion possibly
repost
that
them.
we call all three in, maybe in a special meeting in a week or 2 weeks, and interview all of them ourselves? So we could each ask them our own question, the same question, see if, you know, their articulation, sometimes
Sometimes the resume is not,
that
I
resume,
thought
Resume justice.
that third resume, we kind of put, everybody was
you
not
know,
interested at all because she didn't have the qualifications.
the one I think that didn't have the qualifications might have been the emergency one, but I didn't look at that one again. But I did a little of my own research, what I call digging around, and the one that we thought we kicked because she was moving around, it wasn't necessarily moving around, she was doing part-times at multiple libraries. So I think it's worth I think they should
Wasn't
I
that
think
one-
she could answer the questions for herself than us guessing why she was moving
Yeah, I
around,
agree.
and why she was at multiple libraries. You know, now they're encouraging these younger kids, and again, I don't know how old she is.
Yeah, but wasn't she the one, she didn't have a master's in library
I think
science?
that's the one that canceled on emergency.
No, that's not the one. One of them doesn't even have a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
All she has is just a certificate.
And that's the Lauren
The Lauren Kay.
Kay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that was one that I thought we just,
I wasn't sure about the moving around, that was the thing I was thinking. But I think it's just we have 3 candidates, at least we could say we
we
talked to
didn't
3
get any
people.
additional candidates? I'm
We
sorry.
didn't get anyone
No,
else.
and we posted it the first time, and then we reposted it,
Yeah.
and I'm not getting any resumes, just those 3.
Also, let's interview them anyway. I mean, we have to make
well,
a move.
let's look at the 2. I think that third one, if she doesn't even have a bachelor's, is that correct?
That's correct.
I mean, there's no, that's,
But does she has experience?
Like, how many years' experience in a library does she have? Sometimes the library will pay for them.
And she
to-
doesn't have any managerial experience as well, if I recall.
again, we don't wanna be training somebody, especially at this stage.
Well, let's ask her, maybe she already has a training. I mean, what's another 10 minutes to interview one more person? I mean,
It's more than 10 minutes.
no.
Well, I don't know that we could just have a selection of 2 people. The ad is still out there. Maybe if we call a special meeting 2 weeks from today, we can either get more. But to interview 2 people and say we're gonna pick from one or the other, I mean, the headhunting was a good idea, but now we're talking about more months and more time to put
Yes.
more time and more money
Because,
into
you know,
something.
but we We had somebody that we
Maybe
had to
serve
train
some
that didn't
breakfast.
know how to handle levies and appropriations and stuff like that. We don't wanna hire somebody in that position and train them again.
But we don't know that they don't have experience with that if they worked at a library. I don't think you
You
could
could
just
see
say,
from their positions. And they would say in their resumes
let me see.
that they,
I mean, that's
just
fine
because
if you
they
guys
handle
wanna put it on
departmental
hold.
budgets doesn't mean they can handle a
I'm just
library
afraid if
budget.
we're waiting too long, we're gonna lose even these
Yes.
agencies as well.
Yes,
So
I
let's
think
interview
so.
all three of them, I make second with that motion, and just go from there, Marge, what's the big deal, just let's do it.
Because why bother with somebody who's not,
Because so many times
Qualified.
in my life, I've seen people that have so many schools, and they're actually not good at the job. And I've seen people with no schools at all, but just work experience, somebody just with work experience.
that's right.
I don't wanna judge somebody
But
who's not
that's just
STEM
it, we hired
I knew
somebody
we got a
that,
fight before the night was over, thank God.
Just doing the
I thought it was
interview.
gonna go smooth.
Well, what's the difference?
Don't come
between-
to the meeting if you don't want to, then. You don't have to interview anyone. If you don't wanna come, Marge, don't come.
it's, the point is, don't waste their time, don't waste our time.
How do we know they wouldn't be for a better position? Maybe we interview and we like their personality, and now we say, why don't you work with the youth department? Why don't you work in the popular services?
We have
We don't
applicants
know.
for the youth department.
We have applicants for the director, we have applicants for everyone.
No, you don't have applicants for the director.
Yes, we do.
We have
get
three of them.
Just the one is,
They're really, yeah.
But that's why I think if we leave it out there for 2 more weeks, repost it again, maybe there's somewhere else. We're only putting it on Rails. There's gotta be somewhere else. Everyone just doesn't go to Rails to go find a job.
You got some good applicants for the youth department. You got one person that you better hire for the popular services or you're gonna lose her.
I hope she's not in this pile. Are we talking, well, let's get to that. We'll get to that one.
all right,
So,
but definitely have a meeting and have interviews.
I think you need to I would like to see you, and it doesn't matter what I want, but for the little bit of value that I say, of the 3 applicants you have, none of them strikes a chord of value to me. Maybe
repost
Post
it, or is there
it.
somewhere else to post it?
I was gonna say, is there anywhere else? Does it
Because
make sense to
I mean,
post somewhere
really,
else?
nobody really is a bang bang whoop whoop.
I mean,
this
when we were
group.
looking for certain positions.
We're
we
settling with this group. I mean, you're gonna hire someone that doesn't even have a degree and say, oh, maybe she's gonna be wonderful.
I didn't
You
say hire someone without a degree.
you can't have someone like that managing, let me just finish, managing people who all have master's degrees. It's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work.
My only concern here is that Joanne should not be the only person trying to make a decision and disqualify people. We should disqualify them as a whole.
I think I think we.
But she's weeding out, what she's doing is weeding them out. I'm just pointing out to you why I think the person that has no degree, I think should have, I'm sorry, she might be good for some other position, but not as director. You can't have the director be in charge without a degree, that's a master's at least.
If she came without that from another library as a lesser position, and we interviewed her for the director and said, okay, you're not qualified, but maybe you would like to be the head of whatever, or work in whatever.
Well, like I said, for what, I just gave you my 2 cents worth, and you know it's worth nothing with this group. So I'm just telling you that. My point is, the library director must have a minimum of a master's degree. A minimum of a master's degree. In order to run a library, they have to have a master's degree because they're trained to run a library. That's what a master's degree does. It teaches you how to do certain things. And a master's degree in library sciences teaches you how to run a library.
Not just the department.
Does it not?
Sorry, I didn't mean to shake my head. Not really, no.
No. Well, I thought at least it would teach you how to run a library. It would teach you that you have certain.
There are courses, yes, there are courses in library administration.
I would think it would have to. I mean, what's the point of having a master's degree in library sciences if you don't know how to?
it doesn't mean you don't know how to do it, it means you don't have this piece of paper to say you did it.
Well,
Just like
I
people
just know,
that
I
worked
just
there
know
since
that
they were kids.
I just know that because I did not have a bachelor's of science degree, could not advance in my certain area of expertise because I didn't have those letters. And I know that that's what you have to have. And I don't think that I want to be, my library to be, no, that's bullshit, never mind, doesn't matter. Go, do what you wanna do because that's what you're gonna do.
Sylvia, you're so derogatory. We sit here and we listen to you.
Never mind,
say
never
your
mind.
voice
Oh,
doesn't
never
count,
mind,
so
never
don't
mind,
talk.
never mind.
Alright, so I think we agree that we're gonna, the board itself is gonna
Read those.
interview the people.
Yes.
Yes,
I personally don't mind interviewing that third person. It's 30 minutes to an hour extra of my time.
You get more.
And if we get
Yeah,
more
if we
within the
get more.
next 2 weeks, I think the Dominican library, or what was it?
Dominican does have a,
Dominican and then Rails, and wasn't there one more? Did we put
University
it
of
on those?
Illinois.
University of Illinois, I mean, are we putting it on those?
Yeah, I didn't get any responses.
Well, try it again, maybe.
Maybe bump it again to repost it and see what happens,
Yeah,
and
we'll
we
go
can
from
call a special meeting in 2 weeks and see.
it was suggested that perhaps we need to up our minimum wage. to be
What do we have it
competitive.
right now?
72?
No, I believe we have,
75 or
70,
something.
no, we have
I
70.
thought we had
I think it's 70.
70?
Alright.
Yeah, that might be a little, that might be why you're not getting enough
So maybe put
applicants.
75, but I thought we put or based on
Starting, yeah.
qualifications, starting at.
You put
Yeah, but
starting at
sometimes if you
70.
start, you know how it is, if you start too low, they think,
It's strong.
yeah, you know. It's, we're undervaluing them.
Well, then maybe we need to open the salary up.
So up it to 75 and see if we get any bites. And
That's
then we're-
fine, maybe we'll get a
kinda-
couple new applicants.
Yes.
Yeah, because the quality is just not,
We don't have-
you in this library deserve better. That's what I think. You in this library deserve better. Maybe I'm
I
wrong.
agree, and I would like to
Yeah.
work nicely with someone and have everything packed, and the programs packed, and the library packed, and come in and see more than 4 people, you're right. And we do, we deserve, we all deserve to move on.
All right,
Let's do it.
what is a good day for everyone to get at least these people together?
Edgar, what about you? I know you're on other boards too. I think
I think we want to do this as soon
semi-flexible,
as
maybe
the
the
2-week
5th.
range, somewhat, as soon as possible, but I'll give a little bit of time in case we get a couple more applicants.
Well, if we get a
The
couple
week.
more, then we'd have to call them, so maybe 2
We,
weeks from
we
tonight.
could, well, I was gonna say, we can interview these, and if we get more, then we can interview
Yeah,
the
that's
others
true
too.
also,
We
yeah.
don't have to,
I'll do
just to
them
get
all
the
in one,
ball,
yeah.
just to get the ball rolling.
I was looking at the week of April 3rd. I'm free that
I'm
whole-
free, Wednesdays are good for me, the 5th, would that
Yeah,
work
any of
for
those days
anybody,
work for me.
everybody?
It's Good Friday that Friday. I don't know if anyone wants to wait for that Friday, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that week?
Wednesday the 5th,
Tuesdays is voting.
Tuesday's what is really that day.
and Friday's Good Friday, so Wednesday or Thursday. I mean, we're kinda stuck on Wednesday, I mean, we're all available on Wednesdays anyhow, so when we say 2 weeks from tonight,
Thursday or Monday.
Okay,
is
so,
that April 5th?
April
okay,
5th?
All right.
What time, same time do we, or do we want to do
Do we
something
wanna
earlier?
do the same time, is it okay for you guys to?
yeah,
Well,
6 o'clock?
yes. Hopefully it's good for the applicants too.
Oh, yes, they have another job that might, it should work for them if they're getting.
Yeah. If they want a job,
Yeah,
they're gonna make it.
yeah.
Okay.
6
Okay.
p.m.
April 5th?
So,
April
just
6 p.m.
April 5th, that's a Wednesday, 6 o'clock?
Well, it depends, if they can't come at 6, maybe they can come at 7,
Right.
8 o'clock, 8 or
Yeah.
something.
That's okay, then we'll just move it.
Yeah,
That's right.
okay.
Would we want to say someone at 6 o'clock till the next one for 6:30 and the next one at 7?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
No, give a little bit more space so we have time to discuss between.
Well, or we discuss
Half an
They
hour.
could just make,
They
if
can
it
do
lasts
20
longer,
minutes
we
and then
can
we
make
can discuss.
notes and talk about it all together.
So you want to do half hour then?
Yeah,
6:30 to
even
7?
if we take 20 minutes and then for 10 minutes talk about them.
Okay.
I mean, we could all have a list of questions you wanna ask right then,
Yeah.
so we're prepared
And then
to
just
not.
I would like to see the questions because there's certain things you should not say in an interview.
Yeah,
And I would like to just make sure that there's nothing gonna be said that shouldn't be said in
and
an
I think
interview.
there's some things we can't say.
Like their age, their, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or would
Okay.
can you give us the list of what we can't ask? Is that easier?
Yeah, I could probably
You
run
could
down.
probably Google like what questions to ask, and it'll just come up and tell you. Siri's probably gonna tell me tonight when I go on the phone. She's always listening. Okay, so we're doing that, do we have to vote on that, or we're
Okay,
just,
do we have to
or is
take
it just
action?
No, I
unfinished?
don't think so.
Or
Unfinished business?
if we're upping the.
Well, I think we would have to, because we're gonna repost it at the
Especially
75.
Oh, it's like we changed the salary
Yeah,
range.
Yeah.
and we have to take action. So we're at 75 and see if we get a few more bites.
So do we have a motion? Todd, you wanna say?
I so move, that we change the rate,
And Natasha.
70 to 80, or 70 to 75.
It could become 75.
yeah,
No, we didn't,
75.
we posted it at 70.
And we posted
Maybe
where
I
it
started
replaces
looking more
instead of
involved.
just the one. Can we do that? University of Illinois,
Oh, right, yes.
Dominican.
Rails, and at,
Dominican.
Dominican. You know what I mean.
Who seconded that motion?
I did.
Natasha did, yeah. Natasha, yeah. Okay, yes,
No.
Debbie,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Yes.
Natasha, Sylvia,
yes.
Marge, yes, Edgar,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, D, reference assistant position.
Okay, I did get one, resume. If you, it should be in your board packet. It is the last, it is Galejo's. So I've only gotten one so far for that reference assistant. Popular service reference assistant. So, did you want me to do phone interview? Or do you want me to have them come in
That's a
and-
part-time position?
This is the part-time position, correct. This is the one that's replacing Margaret.
Gallegos?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Wait a minute, I have a question.
I don't think.
We need to have an administrator for that, for,
Yeah.
why don't we hire that one, and then she could maybe look at,
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely,
do it the other way around,
yes.
okay? And then it would make more sense, wouldn't
Okay,
it?
so we're gonna
Yes.
hold off on this
The head of
one.
popular services should try to hire their own team,
Yes,
so they have to work with them.
Yeah, don't you think that makes more
Yes.
sense?
I was just
That
gonna
makes
say
a lot of
that.
sense.
Okay, maybe we're
You
thinking
took, you
alike.
took my thought out of my brain.
So, reference assistant position, I make a motion that the head of popular services hires.
Second.
Are we saying what the salary is, or did we already do that last time?
I believe we did. It was
Right, because it was
posted.
already posted. I think we did it at 16, I believe.
16, I did.
Yeah, 6.
Okay. So I make a motion to let the head hire their own reference assistant.
okay, we're not going to do, you're going to let the head of reference do the interviewing and the deciding.
And then present it, maybe like present it to us.
Yes. And let us know they hired somebody.
Well, yeah,
Okay, because you passed a policy saying that you did the hiring.
No, that we did the beginning and ending of the salaries, the
And
decision
approving
making,
of the
and approving
hiring.
if they needed somebody.
well,
So we know they need somebody, and we gave you the salary already.
all right,
And if
but
that changes down the line, once we have a team, it can change.
now I'd like to, we need to hire someone for popular services, right?
The head of popular services.
What about Sonia?
Are we supposed to be talking about this in open session?
Oh, that's
like
right, we
this?
can't do that, I'm sorry.
Oh, yikes.
My
It's
brain,
okay.
my brain goes dead.
Oh my God, the roof's caving in. No,
Well,
I would,
and also, I think it has to be posted
It does have to be
publicly.
posted.
Wasn't it posted?
it was supposed to be
Not that the-
posted when you told us about Kate.
No, that's why it's on the agenda, to get the approval to post it, and at what salary to post it.
Oh,
That's why it's on the agenda.
okay.
I'm with you, Sylvia.
I just wanna get positions in place so we can get this library staffed, so we can keep it open.
Okay, well, why don't we change the reference assistant position to have, the head of popular service start training the full-time person in popular service as their job, because she will only be here for 1 more week, and let her act as the interim, and she can go interview somebody for assistant position. Because that position's already posted.
Or
I didn't quite follow what you just said.
So
to have Sonia,
be the interim and have Kate start training her now for the next week, because Kate's only gonna be here for another week.
Well, her last day is the 28th, so it's Tuesday.
Okay, so.
2 days.
Well, the original email said April 1st, so.
No, that was Verna. Her last day is April 1st.
Okay. So if she starts, so if you put S to the head of the, acting interim, or the interim head of popular service, and let her go ahead and find a reference assistant position. While you post the popular services legally, or whatever you have to do.
Do you have to legally post it if it's
You have
inside
to-
of the
yes,
library?
you have to
do?
post it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, no, Sylvia, what? What do
Yeah,
you think?
fine. What? Why are you looking quizzically? We don't, should we just post it and let Kate hire someone?
well, we don't know that,
Well, this is something we'll discuss in new business. We should be discussing this under new business.
Well, we can't move on without saying the reference. All right, so
No.
we're saying the reference assistant's gonna be hired by the popular services head.
That's what you already
Do we have to vote on
motioned.
that?
You already motioned to,
We already
Oh,
did.
Yeah.
you did.
yes,
So Kate can do that, is that what we're saying?
No,
no,
she's gonna be gone. It'll have to be, we're giving the power over to the popular service now, so once we get the interim, which we'll get down into the new business.
Okay.
and do we want to, say, because we have only one applicant, do we want to have them interview, or do we want to wait and see if we get more applicants?
Did you post it in the hallway, all the positions, in the entryways?
I posted on Rails, and I believe we sent a internal email out to the staff as well.
But the day I talked to you on the phone, you were gonna put it in the hallway.
It was,
by the bulletin
Ron
boards.
was supposed to do that. I'll have to double check to see if he did that.
Okay, because I think that's a great way, that's a lot of foot traffic, you don't know, especially kids coming in here from college to study or whatnot, maybe they see a job opening, maybe they want it, a part-time position.
Well, then again, you can post that at Dominican too, where you have students going.
Well, hopefully she is, I mean, that was the direction, so. I hope it's posted there.
Who else? Concordia, is that one library?
Concordia? No.
Mhm.
Dominican?
50.
I don't know, Concordia.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Where do they go? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
My brain isn't working. It's after 8 o'clock, no, 7:20, it should be still working.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, move on.
Okay, no, we did have a motion, right? For
You
the-
you
yes,
motioned to have the
Oh.
head of popular service
Services, hired a
hired a reference assistant
part-time,
part-time.
yes, okay. And, who was that?
I made a
Deb-
motion,
Deb,
I
and
don't
then
know.
Natasha second.
Wait, now I'm thoroughly confused.
Deb first and Natasha second.
Natasha did it, okay. All right, we're just saying that when we get the head of popular service in,
The new head of popular services.
Yes.
that, just the head of popular service will hire the part-time person. The part-time research,
Reference
Reference assistant.
reference assistants.
But is that Kate or is it the one that replaces Kate?
The one that replaces Kate.
Because that's not what we're saying.
We're giving the power to the popular service head. If it's not, if we make this other one the interim,
But it's
then
not,
it goes to her.
it's,
Not gonna be the one that's leaving, is my motion, my
It
interpretation.
should be the person that's gonna work with this.
yeah, but see, that's not what we're saying. You're saying the head of popular services hiring.
Well, right now, we don't have any, we have one application, so
Yeah,
She'll
but you're
be
not
gone in
saying,
5 days.
and you're not hearing me. You're not saying the replacement of head of popular services. You're saying popular services.
We can say the new head of popular service is gonna
The
do the
interim
hiring.
Well, but there again, who's to say that the interim is going to be the head of popular service? We don't know who else is going to be applying for the job. That's where the catch.
We're sticky wicket in here.
You know what, maybe we do just to let this whole thing just slide. And to get our head.
Well, because the problem is,
We need
the
to
head
hire
of popular
staff.
service is gonna be gone on Tuesday,
Right.
and we're not gonna have another meeting, so we're gonna have to assign an interim right now anyhow.
Well, it seems to me somebody's interim, whether by de facto, by default.
Well,
Well,
it
it's
wasn't
coming in the new
before.
business. we're
So
gonna-
are we going to say then, we gotta get this language correct, otherwise we're gonna be screwed. We're gonna give the power to hire staff to the interim popular services director? Is that what we're gonna say?
Head. Interim
Popular services director.
Department
Head,
head.
department head.
department head.
Head of popular service,
Okay, so we're gonna
Yes.
give that power to that person.
yes.
Okay,
Based on the salary that we set in the posting that we post, for that many hours and that much pay, we already did that.
okay, so okay. The interim popular services director is gonna have the power to hire starting effective immediately.
Well, she's not gonna be the interim until the 28th of March.
Yeah, but,
Yes. But if applications come in, it should be to that person.
okay. So we have that all in the,
Yep,
Is everyone on the same page?
Yeah.
yep.
Understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
just so,
Everyone get that?
so when she, who, he, what is,
Had
will
to-
know what they're,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
It only makes sense because she has to work with them, not the one that's leaving.
It could be a he
That's what I was
too.
gonna
Yeah,
say,
or
new
she-
person that's gonna be in charge of
Yeah,
the
the
department.
person who
You
is
don't really
doing-
have to.
The person who is the interim director of popular services
Yes,
has the ability to hire.
okay.
Okay. We have that motion, then, Deb,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Natasha,
Yes.
Sylvia,
Yes.
Marge, yes, Edgar,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, head of youth services, teen and outreach position.
As you see, I had 3 resumes that came in for that position.
Now, we can't talk about that here in open meeting.
Well, we could talk about whether we want
Should
to
we want to call them
interview
and
these.
interview them also?
Yes.
Well, first of all, we want to have Joanne do,
Do you want me to do a phone
phone interviews.
No, I don't think so. I think we wanna have personal interviews and we wanna have that,
Yes.
as April 6th again, or what, or another time?
Add these on to the April
Or do
5th.
you wanna do another Wednesday for them?
No, that's fine.
I felt that's a lot. How about what about next Wednesday? Or some, we need to get that going too as soon as possible. So this is, we have 3, they seem to be decent per cat. No, Joanne doesn't, she's not hiring them, we are.
Correct.
So let's not bother with phone interviews,
I mean, we're used to 5-hour meetings, just put them all together. Maybe we'll see someone in the other one that we want to tell them to apply for this at the same time. And put them in the mix with the head of, maybe they're not really director material, but maybe they want to be for the head, the department head for you, or for something, or
oh,
for.
it's your,
I mean, we're all gonna be here, at least our ideas will be fresh with our notes.
It's up to you.
Does that make sense, Marge?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, we're used to sitting here for 4 or 5 hours.
Not me.
That's true. That's true.
But you were present.
I have left once or twice. Okay, so Joanne, you're gonna call and schedule them also, please?
Yeah, so there's a motion to include the youth service, teen outreach positions
The applicants for youth services.
for the April 5th interviews along with the directors.
Do we
There's
need-
no point
we
in
don't
phone
need-
interviews
we
because you
need
don't
a
want to
motion,
see them
we're just
anyway.
Right.
You don't want to do a
I
motion?
don't know, do we?
And if
Do we
need to
need
use
a
a
motion?
motion,
It's just- We're all agreeing that this is the action we have to.
I mean,
talk about it
I mean,
after.
it's gonna have to stay on unfinished business anyhow until we complete it, this position, so, I mean, I don't really think we do, but it's just my opinion. Whoever answers the phone first, let him pick the time slot. That's what I would say. So we Saturday,
You get your choice of 7:30 or midnight.
well, I want to do like the three directors together and then the three together. So like 6 to 7 or whatever it comes down to be. 7:30.
So
7:30 to 7:30 and then
Joanne.
7:30 to 9.
These are the three that we have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no point in a phone interview, because we're gonna wanna interview
I
them
mean,
anyhow.
when you repost, the director just repost everything and see if you get more.
Okay.
Oh, God, hope not.
Or maybe some of them are gonna find the jobs, they're not gonna come.
Sure.
That would be wonderful.
So it's time for us.
All right, so what are we doing?
Okay.
Next item on the agenda,
Next one, okay.
moving on.
Bank deposits.
What happened? What's going on with that?
March came in and did the
Thank you, Marge.
bank deposits, but we need to, figure out what we're gonna do
I did
moving
call her
forward.
over, but she told me you're coming. We all have the same idea.
Well, that has to be done.
Yes. So now what, moving forward?
And it's not a hard or long job when it's done monthly.
But this is a,
This isn't for a member of the staff, so this is
Well-
not for a board member.
Well, once we get a director, hire a director, we could get, like we had before, we'll get the director bonded, and then that director could do the deposits like it was done before. But until we get a director, we need somebody to do the deposits.
Did we say to assign 2 people from the staff?
We did, and there was no volunteers. There was an email that was sent out, nobody stepped up to say, we'll do it. So,
Okay, I don't wanna waste time on this, we're not gonna fight about this again, let's move on. You took it this time, if I gotta take it next time, I'll take it next time, I'm not, till somebody else comes in, we're not gonna waste any more time on that, okay? Let's move
How
on.
come Natasha doesn't have the time?
I don't wanna,
that's not, it's a discussion, it's moot. I agree with you.
I don't wanna
Let's
fight
go
about it.
on.
Moving on,
Security cameras, we don't have
cameras.
quotes.
Okay, security cameras, we still have 2 pending,
Well-
I say don't even consider them if
there's
you
one
could.
that you do have, I just recently got it, and it's a separate one from the security quote. It's a separate one I put in, next to your packets. I got that this week.
But is this the one that took 7 months to get? Cause I don't know how long they're gonna put
No,
cameras
it's
in.
the
if it's
PACE
just
one
a
is the
quote.
one, it's the PACE one is still pending. The security ones is the one that we currently have right now, they changed their name.
Is this packet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Heritage, we already have, Securitas that says pending is right here, Pace is still pending, cross them off, don't throw it away when you get it, cause it's been pending since August.
So
I mean,
just the PACE is pending, we got the
That's what I
security
mean,
ones.
that's crazy. If you have to wait 8 months for a quote, you'll be waiting a year to get cameras, to get it. And I really don't think, I think we need to table this to the next meeting, because I just got this and didn't even get a chance to read it, and I'm not rushing through it right now. I apologize, but my eyes are not gonna let me read 47 pages at this, look at this print. So, what's one more month? We've already been doing this since July or August. I make a motion, we table the cameras for now, for next meeting.
No, it's under unfinished business, you don't have to table it.
Oh,
It's
okay,
going,
then keep going,
right?
keep going.
Okay, so we have to study this one.
That's your homework, everyone.
Securitas.
All right, moving on, outdoor sign.
Same thing with that. Well, the quotes, you printed them out again, Joanne, and they still have other people's names on them, they still have dates that are outdated on them. This says 8/31/2021 in our packet. So that's not gonna be the price. This one is from 9/1/22, that's not gonna be the price. And we're still waiting for one other one, so you can skip that one too, in my opinion.
The thing is, when you asking for the quotes, it has to be asked for the same kind of sign, otherwise we cannot compare it. And
It's not even the same size, it's not the same pixels, it's not the
No.
same anything.
I think we should just get a chisel and a stone, and just chisel.
I wish we could just get that one that they have on Pershing over there, that's so beautiful, And that guy, I left him them a message, and they didn't call me back either. The
Nobody
Village
wants,
guys.
nobody wants the business. Everybody
They
wants,
cry poor, but nobody wants the business.
nope, nobody
So
wants,
I called him, I left
nobody
him a
wants to
message.
work, nobody wants the business, no, I agree. I don't
Which
understand
one
it.
is this if you said?
The Great Signs, GRATE, I think it
I
was.
can try to reach these ones, email, if you
It
don't
was the
mind.
one that the village has out in
It's
front,
to see
that's
if-
on their
Yeah.
pedestal, it's
Oh.
all LEDs,
And maybe next
beautiful.
time, they'll.
And I think
if
there
they
was
can
like
put
24
valid for,
or $25,000,
Yeah, but
5 or 6
I have
years
to see
ago,
from
so of course
what's
it's
the
gonna
size
go
of the
up.
sign we
But I don't know if
We
they
have the
have
money for it.
Yes,
Let's do it right the first time.
and if we have the per
Great
capita grant,
installation, the other
That's
one's no
all better.
We
installation.
don't know about that, but even if we do
Yeah.
it right the first time, then you have it done, and you never have to do it again.
Same stuff.
I
That's
think-
my
your parting.
party words to all of you is do it right the first time. Don't do it from the cheap, do it right, and then you don't have to worry
I will
about it.
do.
Right.
Nobody ever had.
Sometimes
access.
cheap
Measure
ends up being
twice,
expensive, right?
So, what did we say anyhow, what
Sometimes
is the
cheap ends
liaison
up being
here?
expensive.
Oh, it's always, it always
Is
is.
it Mitch? Are you the liaison to the village? Trustee Mitch Malenkovich, and who, anybody can call you from this board, or you are only assigned one person? Does anyone know?
What?
Maybe if he uses the village's name, he can get a quote for us, because the village has a sign. He's our liaison, trustee Malenkovich.
the director.
We don't have one, so
Correct.
it's gonna be Edgar.
We don't have anybody, you just look out the door, you'll see there's nobody.
Ron is still there, he can run this place, I have faith in him. See, he's right there, he can do
I mean,
it.
God bless them. He's the only
So,
one.
is everyone in agreement that we can ask trustee Mitch Malenkovich to reach out to the sign company and use their name, and maybe they'll call back faster?
That would be wonderful. I think, it's this way to anybody.
And I'll try to contact these
And if
two.
you
Yeah.
could call those and get it updated
Updated.
with the same pixels and the same.
I need to know what's the.
I think Joanne has enough on, actually, I think Joanne has
Yeah,
enough.
and you know what, that's why I got the landscaping, and I called Joanne last week, I was sick last week with a cold, I knew nobody would want to see me in this library because I was all congested. But I did call Joanne, I asked her if she wanted me to take the deposit, if no, she said Marge was. I asked her if she needed help with the quotes, I did the landscaping quotes, I passed them out. I'm more than willing to help, and we all should right now if we are short-handed. I don't think that's unreasonable, if someone has time to do that. Not Edgar, he's traveling now. He's back,
That's
he's
enough
back.
As
So-
trustee Johnson, I'll call
You did a
tomorrow
lot.
morning and I'll try and get something.
Thank you very much, I appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
trustee.
I was gonna say, the other sign that I saw that I thought that looked good was the one for the restaurant there on 41st and Harlem.
Oh,
The
the
pixels,
Hispanic new restaurant?
yeah, the pixels seem small enough that it gets a pretty decent,
All of them offer that, you just have to ask for it.
You have to know what you're asking for. I
that's the
think.
point I'm
Yeah.
getting at,
Yes.
is to find out how many pixels
Yes.
we
They
want.
don't call it
in the
pixels or
sign.
something like that, but that's what I'm gonna do, I'm
Yes, you
gonna
have
ask
to ask
them
about pixels, because
Yes,
that's,
yes.
the
It's on the-
the
it's on
resolution.
for. It goes something with the millimeters, but I got it. I'm gonna try to get these guys, see if they're gonna respond with the updated stuff with the same thing, but I'm gonna see what you're asking for over there.
Yeah, I don't know how you,
It was a whole thing that was given to the previous library director.
oh, yeah, no, but what I'm
The
saying
pixels.
is just,
Make sure we ask for the same thing.
we ask for the same
Yes.
thing and we know.
With
what we're
installation.
looking- I mean, like the one that the church has is,
I don't really, it's too low, it's too.
No,
Well, I'm
no,
looking at
the
the
village
pixels.
one is the one I like.
okay,
That's the one I like. If you can get a quote on the, one on the village has, they can install it, electrify it.
Play with it, program it, it'll be perfect. Maybe ours will be bigger than the villages, don't tell them. Don't tell them.
I'll go out and buy a bigger one.
That's what I'm afraid of, and then we'll have to get a bigger one, we'll get a bigger one, we'll have to get a bigger
we'll
one.
have projections on the side of the
Maybe I'll give you my old one.
It'll be like a drive-up outside of the Berkey one.
They won't have it projected on the side of the building.
So Natasha, you get two, and Mitch is gonna get one.
Maybe
I mean,
if we
trustee,
can get them
sorry,
for free,
trustee
yeah.
Malenkovich.
Why
Any
not?
business?
All right, moving on to new business.
What is this?
Snow removal, landscaping quotes.
So I did not get the snow removal because I was gonna say it didn't snow, but it did like 2 days ago, so, but we're still under contract with them. The landscaping quotes, there's McAdam here. 2 pages
Excuse me, just
long.
for a second. We do not have, Joanne, we
Yes.
do not have,
Contract.
contract with the previous one, landscaping?
We did, I'm not sure if it goes beyond a year, I could double check with them.
Okay.
Oh.
So this one, this McAdam, the only reason I personally didn't like it, I don't like when they fluctuate that gas price and the surcharge and all that goofy
God.
stuff. They did that with my garbage and my business and it was a nightmare. I was paying like $15 or $16 to go half a block with the gas. But they could do that, cause it's a percentage of what you pay. And this one has only, I think, 3 fertilizers, turf fertilizers, only 3. And this, they want half the money up front, which is $2,856, or they want 8 installments of $357. So that's one thing for 1 year. The next one is, I like this because it's local. I saw the guy, he's a hard worker, he's from Berwyn. I talked to him, he, for $40 a week, he will cut, edge, trim, blow the sidewalks, all this stuff. He doesn't do the weeds, so I got which I love this place, the Spring Green, I got a quote from them. They do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fertilizers and that aeration where they, with the holes in there. And so that would be separate, so between 500 for Spring Green, that covers the whole season. And if you see one dandelion, you call them back and they're right back out, doesn't matter. And they know it's commercial property, because I thought that was kind of cheap. I think that's close to what I'm paying for residential, but I thought it was a good deal. I like this guy, I like giving business to local people who are hard workers. I mean, that's my opinion, not saying this guy's not. I don't like the fluctuating prices, like you're signing a contract, but then it might go up this, or it might go up that, and if your payment's late, it's gonna be 1.9% more. And this gentleman that I spoke to, I told him he would get paid after our board meeting, was no problem with that. It wasn't a whole season, so Joanne will have to look if we have a contract with someone, I didn't think we did, but.
Now the trouble with Spring Green is they don't talk about cutting grass.
No, they don't. No, they're just
stapled
fertilizer.
together. Like this gentleman will do, he does the mowing, edging, stringing, debris, sidewalks for $40 a cut. So if it's not long enough, he won't come that week. He doesn't cut the grass just to cut the grass.
Okay.
And then Spring Green is double the fertilizer plus the
weed
aeration.
control.
And what I like is you see one dandelion, they're back out there. I mean, I gotta do it. So I don't think we were that happy with the last year, but I came in at the end of the season. So I'm not gonna, Natasha, with the previous landscaping, I came in towards the end of the season, so I don't know, I didn't think you guys were happy with them, but I'm just assuming I was in mid-season.
Well, there again, you're talking about landscaping, neither one of these talk about like putting mulch down,
No,
or anything like that.
No, neither one of these do. And I don't think our other contractor did, that's why he was charging $800 and $900 separately.
or something.
Like this guy would probably do it separately, like a separate.
And that's always gonna be a separate fee for mulch.
Right,
So-
and that was like $900 just for by the door there.
That's
That
it?
was crazy, that was a crazy price, I thought.
But I think the other one was, it was like $670 per month.
Oh, I'm sorry, here, So Equal Lawn Service didn't call me back, must not want business. Another one, Vasquez, no call back after he was gonna give me the estimate and drop it off. So I physically talked to him, but he still never showed up. A&L Landscaping is $525 a month, that was a phone quote that I got, with no fertilizer. And then Siebert Landscaping is what we have now, and I think it was $478.
Was it 480?
$480 a month that we
What I
paid for
remember.
the last.
But I don't know if that
2 months.
included the fertilizer or not. Or did
No,
they charge extra with
No,
that?
that was just cutting,
No, but it
cutting,
wasn't a
edging,
section.
trimming.
Yeah.
So I think it was probably like,
I remember they were charging extra every time
Okay,
they were.
here's
they were
another thing that
fertilized.
I noticed is, in McAdam, they talk about trimming evergreens and shrubs. And this David's doesn't, he just.
Right.
So again, that's another.
add-on that we would have to do.
Yeah,
Right.
So I mean, we're not quite doing apples and oranges, we are doing apples and
We
potatoes.
kind of
here.
are, but we're not, I mean.
Well, I understand what you're
I
saying,
could
but these
call
are
him back and
extras.
ask him, because I got this one after this one.
Mhm.
I just thought almost $3,000 is pretty high, because what if it's a dry season, you don't need to cut grass cut. But I've seen people cutting the grass in the rain when it doesn't need to be cut. That's why I like this guy, it's per cut, it's not, but like you said, is he gonna trim the trees? I'll tell you, doesn't look like anyone's trimming our trees, because the tree's been blocking our security camera over here for the last
But it says
year.
What's
something.
street trimming, yeah, street trimming?
String trimming, that's the weed whacking all over it. String.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if this guy is trimming the trees, I don't know how good a job he's doing if it's still blocking our cameras. And he came in and said, you should trim your trees, the security guy, when he came. So I don't, maybe
Well,
they're doing the
that-
bushes.
I'm thinking of bushes.
Bushes, okay.
Trees, then you might have to start getting a tree service.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
You
tree
gotta
service.
Because you have to.
Somebody
you have to
else.
Climb
try.
up there.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
So that wouldn't be part of the loan, but I'm talking about the
The bushes.
bushes.
Do you have the contract available or no? Like, when does it expire with them, or
I'd
is
have
it?
to take a look upstairs
Okay.
to see what
Okay.
the contract says.
So we have these few, and if you look at it, can you maybe email us tomorrow and let us know? I mean, if we're under contract for another year with them, this is wasting our time. And if we're not, find out when it expires. Hopefully it doesn't just auto-renew, and we could pick something.
So you can call in for the bushes too.
Yeah, and ask them when the bushes.
Do you want to vote?
Well, you can always, you don't trim your bushes every day, you
No.
trim your bushes once a year.
Once a year, that's it.
But I'm just saying, it's,
Justify-
you.
Well, I only trim my bushes once a year, I trim my bushes in the fall.
Yeah,
You're
But
not
you have to
supposed
put
to
it
be
in the
cutting them all the
contract.
time. Right,
It has to be in the contract, otherwise it doesn't get done.
correct.
or they're gonna charge you more? Or what?
Well, I don't
No,
know
you
what
just
the
call them out and
average
say
is.
trim my
$10
bushes, and they come out and they trim your bushes. Such a big, I don't know.
If it's not in the contract, so
Yeah.
it doesn't happen.
Well, then, no, you just,
Right?
Yeah,
You have to
I mean,
add,
that's just, like you say, if we were to take
Yeah.
on this Mr. Davis,
Right.
then we'd have to.
I'd have to just ask them, is it $5 a bush out there or 10? I don't think it's expensive at all.
no, I don't
The only
think
charge is
so.
$40 per cut.
Yeah, I bet you if he does it twice a year, if it's 100 and 100 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
just,
still
I'm just
gonna
saying
be-
we have to,
yeah.
get him to write it on there. I
Yeah.
agree 100%. I just like to
And
give
it's
smaller
local
people a
guy,
chance,
and
especially when they're out there hardworking and he's the owner of the company.
well, now here's the thing,
Local.
is if they take on too many jobs, then they can't take care of their customers well either. That's where you get a little tricky with the
Right.
small ones. Sometimes they bite off more than they can chew,
Well,
and they don't.
I think the good thing with him too is it's not a formal contract. So if you don't want him, it's like, goodbye, we don't want you anymore, you're doing a horrible job. Where you're not locked into someone with a horrible job. I don't think he does a horrible job. What I'm saying is, you're not locked in for a year with all these extra charges and all this stuff. I mean, that's the way I was kind of leaning toward, but you guys all have your opinions of what you think. But none of our opinions matter until we see the contract, so we're gonna have to wait
I
till
would,
Joanne
I would
emails
be
it.
a little dubious of about
50-50.
by the use, because he could quit in the middle of summer, and then we're.
Oh, no, he's been in business for years, because I
But
already did
if he
the-
quits in the middle of the summer, I know somebody to call.
Well,
He's got his hand
we're
raised.
gonna
He's
buy,
raising his hand already.
No, I heard Marge needs a summer job, so we're gonna buy a lawnmower.
Oh, It's
a fresh air outside.
A ride-on one. Okay, so we'll put this on the side till Joanne emails it.
I was gonna say, we've had professionals before who screwed us, that.
I believe it.
it.
I believe it.
So,
He's local, so let's see, you know, he knows it's a.
Oh, Brian Davis, I know Brian Davis since he was about 16 years old. I mean, he's in, you know, he's, like you said, he's grown up in the community.
Well, if he doesn't show up, then you can go
I'll
call
beat
his
him
mom.
up.
or
I'll
call
send
her. Yeah.
I got a machine here, I
Give
can
him a
pummel
whooping,
him.
you know. Okay,
All right, moving on
This is
to
gonna be tabled then?
table to the next meeting, right?
well,
No, I think what we need to do is, what do we need? What's missing from this quote?
the bushes.
Bush trimming,
Yeah,
what else?
and then the current contract, when,
We don't know if the
if there's a
current
contract.
And the current contract. So, we'd like to see that April.
at the special meeting, you could put it on there, right?
I think we should have it there.
Okay.
And then we can make a decision, because it's getting to be time when you need to make
That's
that.
why I wanted to get the quotes.
I agree with you, so let's
Okay.
put that on there for the next special meeting.
Because we have to post the meeting.
So we want
too,
bush
don't
trimming, and,
Bush trimming.
and do you wanna have the, mulch?
I can ask them.
Okay, bush trimming and mulch.
Okay.
And Joanne, you're gonna get the other one, and that's, so it's the current one that we have now, and Brian David's. We're not gonna worry about anybody else right now.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait, but also then what about the spring green with the fertilizer?
Oh, I think we should get that in addition to Brian Day, and it will still be cheaper than both of the other ones.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, so that would be a separate
That's good.
entity. If we get Brian David's, we would have that fertilizer.
Yes.
Yeah, well, oh, yeah, but that's a,
No, if we get Brian David's, that goes along with Brian David's.
This is like 500 for the year for the spring green, and then him, I mean, how
So
many?
let's say 5 months, this will be
do we need
$100
it
a
for
month.
variation? Do we really need that? Does that really do anything?
I mean, I think it thickens the grass is what it is when you see the people with.
It's
the
$114, I don't know that that's,
Is that what it does? I think it does. I think it thickens.
It's supposed to let more.
We did the one, the other thing is.
I think it lets more water and more air in there, so.
Yeah, but I don't know how long it.
it's $114.
For the whole season.
Well, they do it once.
Do you,
Oh.
The help though.
does it matter for for our budget, $114?
I don't see the expense. That's like ordering.
I think we don't want it.
Okay, well, I won't do the ordering of it. I mean, it will be
We,
through
we
Joanne
could, we'll
anyhow.
just cross that off the thing, we don't want the aeration, we only want the fertilizer.
Okay. Yeah, this says service to begin mid-April to mid-May, so yeah.
Yeah, we have to move along, we have to move
Get
along.
fertilizer
So,
going, yeah.
okay, how does that sound? Is everybody happy?
Yep.
I'm happy. When you got me happy, everybody's happy, let's go.
Okay, next.
Moving on.
All right,
Next.
Next one.
owner response letter from Attorney General.
Okay, so it
We've all
has to be
seen it,
posted.
we've all read it. So deal with it.
So, in reading the letter, the secretary, I guess, has to do the minutes and the meeting has to be posted.
There was no minutes that were taken, but do you wanna come up with something?
Yeah, you have to watch the video and take the minutes, I guess.
Mhm.
I think there was, it was probably in your response, pretty much, is the minutes, isn't it? Didn't somebody respond to the back? I don't
No,
know.
there's nobody took minutes.
Nobody took any notes, no.
No, but the response to the pack is what was talked about, could be the minutes. Otherwise, just watch the video and take minutes and post them.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, we would have to, approve the minutes at the next board meeting.
Okay. So you wanna just move that to the unfinished pile and we'll approve it as separate? Cause they're not technically like minutes. Anyone? Anyone? Wakey!
I
Yeah, it has to be
have
moved,
no-
because we can't vote on it now.
Right. Okay, board vacancies, did you get any applications at all before? I think we have to turn that off if we're talking about.
We have to go into,
You skipped one.
Oh, I know, but I
I
think
think we skipped.
but do we have to go into closed session to talk about that?
We still have item C to,
I mean, we've already talked about it, basically.
Yeah,
I mean,
but we have,
Yeah, we're going, I'm going. And you're on my, we're riding on my scooter. so
Oh, you
you're
know,
on-
because of the recording, you can't go. You can't go strong.
This is short, you guys. I wanna talk about more stuff. We don't need to-
Let's
Yeah, but
keep
it's
going.
Well, we'll see. It's still,
It's not over
there's
yet.
still time.
I'll
There's
get in
still
touch
time.
with you about the
Sorry,
sign
close,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
All right, good to see you.
Thank you
Good to see
for
you too.
coming, thank you for coming, thank you for coming,
Yes.
thank you for flying.
You too. So.
Oh, nice to meet you too, so I had to tell me.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks again. What are you doing over here?
Thank you.
I know, yeah.
Can leave.
No, you gave it to me, yes, thank you. Careful. Who's this person?
Nice talking to you again. Careful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a director position. I don't know how I got out of order.
Smile.
I always do.
Besides,
That's why you never know what I'm thinking.
Okay, so we're,
With item
Do we
C.
get, so, did you turn the camera off and turn it back on or no?
No, we're not there yet.
Well, I know, but the next two things of talking
But-
about.
Yeah, I think head of
But-
popular services and board vacancy,
Okay, but
they
wait a
should
minute.
be in closed
Under-
session, shouldn't they?
But it's not as listed on the agenda. The only closed session on the agenda is the litigation, which we didn't do, and the deliberation of the trustee candidates, not to talk about these other, head of popular service. There needs to be an open meeting.
I don't understand
But
that.
how can we talk about employees in an open meeting?
That's what I don't understand.
Well, we don't have, it's not on the agenda to go into closed session for that particular thing. Those are two different things.
Well, how can we talk about those two things?
Well, what are we talking about as far as head of popular services? Are we just saying that we're going to give direction to Joanne to post it? That doesn't require a closed meeting.
We need.
But we have an
direction to post
applicant.
it, and we need an interim. That's also an applicant. I don't see it in our packet. So.
What did you just say? Wait, I missed that.
SR, we can just do the initials again, I guess. We need to have an interim when the other head
Yes,
leaves next week.
yes, and I think S should be,
I'm with you 100%. SR, but I don't see her resume in the packet. Did she not turn it in?
No, wait,
Because
you're
it
talking
hasn't
about
been-
two different things here. You're talking resume for permanent position,
Right,
and then you're talking about appointing someone to interim. Those are
Yes.
two different actions. We
is
can,
true,
we
yes.
can indicate, we can appoint the interim
Okay,
in open session.
okay.
now,
Just like we hire in open session.
I always thought anything.
I don't
we talk about
understand that.
employees, it has to be in closed
I'm
session.
so confused.
Because we're talking about, right now, we're talking about appointing an interim,
Right,
which we would be coming, which is coming from inside. That can be done in open session.
okay,
Now,
question.
now, when it comes to hiring permanent, then that is where we are looking at
closed session.
closed sessions.
Okay,
And we're not at that point yet because we haven't posted popular services
gotcha.
publicly. So we
Gotcha.
cannot just consider,
One person. Okay, I gotcha.
Okay. Oh, that's why, okay, gotcha. But, do we have, like, what do you call it? For the posting?
Money, salary.
I mean, the whole thing.
Charades.
The whole thing.
Job
descriptions,
description.
thank you.
Job description. Do we have it?
No, we do not have a job description for the head of popular service position. I've been trying to obtain that for quite some time.
Why don't you go in your car and get it?
And
Well, what about the one we had for Kate?
there actually wasn't, I have a job posting for that position, but I don't have a job description. I've been
Okay,
trying to get
that's-
that for several months now and haven't been able to get it. I had asked,
Let me go to my car, I'll get you.
Wait, why wouldn't you have it, Joanne? You're supposed to be the record keeper upstairs,
I've been,
locked in file cabinets.
there's just never
It
was one.
disappeared.
There
There had to be one.
I'm
Some
sure
people got
there was
hired.
one, but I cannot locate it. It's not in the X drive. It's not in any of the drives that I've been looking at, the file folders in the computer. And I asked the director for it, and the head of popular service said she was never given one, and she was waiting for one, so then I did request that they,
You mean Kate didn't have a job description when she was
We
hired?
hired her.
What the hell is going on here?
okay,
know,
yes, all right.
we had a
One
job
thing,
posting,
again,
we had a job
The
posting.
posting is different from,
The job.
Oh, I understand that.
But there should be a job description for
Yes,
every
there
person
should.
in this library to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
yes.
And every job description, as I'm finding out from me visiting these other libraries and doing my due diligence here, is you also have to, I noticed they all started putting on there, you might be asked to lift, bend, pick up,
Our job
whatever.
descriptions have that.
And you should also have on there, and underneath their whole job description and anything else the library
Just
asks you to do.
Do you have job
That's on
descriptions for every other job?
It's
Yes, I
on all
do.
those?
Yes, I
So
do.
you're
But
missing
it's
one
not for
job.
popular services.
No, I've been trying to get one, and I did request them to give me a draft so that I could generate one, and
I can't believe that.
I haven't had. gotten
Well,
that.
consider-
Every company have a job
Layton
description.
was popular.
And that's the only one that's missing.
Yes.
Isn't
I
that
had somebody, you
interesting?
should've known what the-
How did that slip through the cracks? Or,
I've been trying to attain one for a while now, but I haven't been able to. And yes, it's in under essential functions and all the job descriptions, other duties as required.
Okay, because I noticed they all have that. That's to cover, like, if I say, Sam, can you take that pen over there and give it to Sylvia? And he goes, that's not my job.
Yeah, it's not.
well, see, that's what happened with the treasurer. Because,
Yes. Uh-huh.
There we go, back to the treasurer.
but no, oh, no, au
We're
contraire.
not employees of the library.
But
That's
you are-
different. We're not employees
Yeah.
of the library. We do not work for the library. This is a volunteer position. We don't get a paycheck. I mean, you've been doing it for, I'm not gonna say how many years unless you wanna say it, but you know, how many deposits have you taken in 24 years?
When I was
What
a
did you do?
treasurer, I did.
When you were the treasurer, what did you deposit? Because they didn't have coin towers back then probably,
Yes, they
or
did.
snacks for 10 cents a piece. I'm just saying, who cares? Every meeting, this is a big fight. It's a staff member's job. It's not a board member's job. We don't work for the library. We work with the library for the taxpayers. Remember the bracket that I kept showing at every meeting that I was given when I was a trustee? That's what we're doing, Sylvia. And that's why I called the library, because I don't want to fight anymore either. If you want me to deposit the money, Joanne, did I not tell you? Call you up and say, I'll deposit the money if no one else did. And you said, Marge, we'll come next week, and I said, fine, let me know if she doesn't come. That's how I talked to Joanne about getting the landscaping stuff. I'm willing 100%, it's fine. Some people want to, some people don't.
Well,
We shouldn't shame people for it.
No, I'm not shaming people.
But you
It's
took,
every
you
meeting.
took this
No.
position. You know what the responsibilities are, and they're not taking the responsibilities for it.
I don't know what the treasurer's responsibility is, except for what it says in the bylaws, and it doesn't say anything about counting coins. I didn't see one sentence about
Oh.
counting coins. That's all I'm saying. It's not my fight to fight, I'm not the treasurer. I offered to take the money, period. So if you can't find it, let's move on.
I
We're not
think-
gonna be
I
fighting.
am head of adult services, that's the one, right?
Yeah.
I can offer too, you know.
Okay.
Is that from ours, or is it from another library?
It's from ours,
Okay, can I get a copy of that, because I can't find
She's
it
giving it to you
anywhere.
right now.
because I FOIA this from previous director. But it says head of adult services, because it used to call it adult services
Okay,
before.
this is what I need.
Yeah,
Perfect, thank you.
just get a copy and make sure you get it back.
That's why we throw nothing away.
Do you want, do you want this back? I could make a copy and give it back to you if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, so where were we?
So getting back to
Okay.
where you were,
Okay,
Marge.
so we want to appoint
Interim.
The interim head.
First, can we vote on approving me posting the position, and at what salary you want me to post it at? Before you talk about appointing.
Head of
Oh,
popular
that's how we did
services.
that. Yeah. Well, I think we agreed before, well, maybe we didn't agree,
No.
that the previous head was hired at the same pay as the
But the other person
The
before
other
them
person left after 8 years and they just got the same pay. I don't know what kind of pay are we
Well, what
talking.
are we talking about? Have you got a range that you can pull up?
I could,
Right now I know.
No, I'm asking.
I could pull up, I could check to see what the salary survey says, that I have for a head of popular service or adult services. You know, again, it's gonna be your decision on what type of salary you wanna go with.
Yeah, do you have a range that you can pull up? I'm asking.
I'd have to go upstairs and find something.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna be on qualifications. It's gonna be probably, I wouldn't think as much as.
All right, what's Sonia making now?
I don't even
see
know
the
if we
date.
can be talking about this, so are we?
No, we're not,
Let's
let's take care,
know,
wait,
Sylvia, I'm just
what are we
asking.
taking care of first? Are we taking care of the posting first?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, the posting. How can we post it a salary when we don't know what we're talking about.
I know, but when you say how much is Sonia making, I don't know that we could do that.
Because she's, oh, no, she's not head of,
So the current head
Is making
salary,
27.50.
27.50.
And that was
that
too
is,
high.
no, wait a minute, that is 27.50, and that's Kate's.
Yes.
27? For head of doctors?
That's because she got the salary that previous person left with.
Yeah, no,
After
that's
being
the second
there so many years. That's what we're trying to say.
Mm.
Do we start with that salary? In my opinion, it should be a little less.
It would, what we have to, it would depend on their experience, yeah. Well, we'll have to see what the ranges are to be.
I don't know, it should be
I
less.
mean, are we doing hourly or are we doing salary?
This is a department head, so it's gonna be a salary exempt position.
Okay.
Which would
So,
be,
let's
which would be,
just-
80.
How do you call the website? Where you can find the salaries?
I have a salary survey for library services that I have upstairs that we could pull. But if you want, we could do a range from, we could do starting at, if you thought the other one was a little too high that we hired the other one at, then I would say let's start at 45 depending on qualification.
Wait a minute, 45, somebody just said 27.
No,
But you don't want to go that
You were
high.
saying per hour, 27.50.
Oh, yeah, okay, no wonder, I was
So-
wondering.
Yeah, because since you don't want to go that high, I would say maybe 45 to 50, unless you want to start at a 50 or start at
Sounds like
45.
50s.
Well, and I still think we need to know how much S, whatever name is making, so that we're not hiring her at less than what she's making.
Well, no, what we can do is say starting at 48,000 and up, depending on qualifications.
Well,
If S is making more than that,
if we,
then we just bump it up. Right? I've heard
Yeah.
about doing that, right?
I would say that instead of a
Yeah.
range.
Right.
Kind of.
No, I wouldn't limit the range, I would say starting
Starting,
at
starting, yeah.
47,000 maybe. Okay, so,
47.50.
what did I just say,
Yeah, okay.
47,000 was,
So-
47 divided by 52, divided by 40, that's 22.60 an hour, that's a little rough. Maybe
Do we want to give
24.
Joanne a few moments to go upstairs and grab a copy? So we know.
Well, she's got it,
if you want, I can write down what,
No, but the
No.
salary ranges.
she's got the salary.
I have current ones, I was writing at that meeting when we were having.
For our
okay.
shift. I'm talking about Joanne, if we give her a few moments to get salary ranges for libraries,
Oh,
the
okay.
broad range.
But I don't like when we do that, I don't think this is our library, and we're not gonna put out a salary that's lower than what S makes right now, I don't think.
Let's quit worrying about S. Let's concentrate on the position.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. I can guarantee you that if S doesn't get the position, S is out of here. I guarantee it.
Well, I don't think we should talk like that.
Well, I can,
No, but I'm with you, I want S to have it, I'm with you, but I wouldn't,
and I would, if I were her, I'd be out of here too.
absolutely, when you got passed up 2 more times before that, absolutely, I'm with you 100%.
And I don't think,
We have to post it.
I know you have to post it, but I just guarantee you that I would be so,
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
And if it's at the special meeting, that we make a final decision, I'm okay with that. Post it for 2 weeks and we'll make.
post
a
her for
decision.
50 weeks, I still think she should get it.
I don't know what the limit is. How many days do we have to post it? 3, 5, 7, 2 weeks? I don't know. I'm 100% with you on this, Sylvia. This is not even a fight with us.
We have to be.
I'm 100% with you. She's qualified, she's a hard worker, and she's been passed up twice.
I'm sorry, that's extraneous.
I know. I just
It
telling
is
you.
too when you say she's gonna quit, because then it's like you're saying that to the other board members to intimidate them. I don't want them to feel
No, it's
like
not an intimidation.
someone else is gonna
It's
quit.
just a point of.
We don't need that, another person. I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's not a point of, it's just a point of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, but I still think we don't, we're posting the position don't worry about individuals. We're posting the position irregardless of
Okay.
who's
I understand.
Keep it
But
simple.
now you got it, your salary posting is gonna be,
50,000.
what is it?
I think 50,000. Starting at.
Starting at,
What are,
again,
How much is it hourly?
wait, let me see this again.
26.
again,
No, no,
what are the
50 minutes.
ranges?
Okay.
I see what
We gotta post something and then
Yes,
at the hiring, we will,
exactly. So do we want to let Joanne see what the ranges are?
absolutely.
Or do you want to give her a few moments to do that?
Yeah.
Can you put your hands on it quick?
I
Yeah,
can
that's-
try.
Oh,
Okay.
you wanna take Natasha's copy too with you, real
Oh,
fast?
yeah, make that, yes, good point there.
Like, what is?
Make 2 or 3 copies for
That's the new one.
yourself.
What is this
Natasha
annually?
back hers.
Oh, I don't know.
You have this thing on your.
Oh, yeah, it's your phone.
So do we know if we had any board applications or no? Only Joanne knows that? Did she say
Yeah,
anything to you guys?
No, I haven't heard anything.
We mean board applications.
For the spot?
Roses, do we want to bother to fill it for 2 months?
No. I mean, yes and
In
no.
fact, there's only 1 meeting, so what's the point?
It's like,
Why, is it
Oh,
April?
okay, no, that's right, she's got.
Hi.
I hate to interrupt, I was just told that I did not post the jobs that are opening on the doors.
No, we didn't say that. We just
Joanne
asked
said
if you
she
did or
asked
not.
Ron to do it and she didn't know if he did, so she had to ask him.
She never asked me to do that,
Okay.
okay?
Understandably,
What about the computers? Did you talk about replacing those?
He said that they were going to be coming in and working on it. He said he talked to you about it today.
One of his workers that I told him said that they were obsolete pretty much. Freezing up all the time and not working.
Right, he told us about,
Okay.
do you have any, Ron, do you
No,
have any
that's-
quotes or anything
No, I
from
don't. I don't have
anyone?
any, the IT guy that was here a year ago, or Marcus.
come on in
No.
and take your time.
He said that these needed to be replaced. Money was put into the budget to replace
Okay, now
them,
you see,
and
the
it has not been done.
Okay,
So these guys struggle out here having to jump from computer to computer, getting work done.
Ron, how many
Oh,
computers are we
2.
talking about?
We're talking
Okay,
about 2.
who
We're
will have to be?
Intel 5s that are, now we're at Intel 9. You know that?
So how much money are we talking about?
I don't
No,
know.
he doesn't know that.
$1,100 each?
Who will be in charge of buying that?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Outsource, I think, don't you?
no, he's talking about, these are the computers that the patrons use, the
Oh, okay.
laptops.
I would
Not the
No,
patrons.
are you talking about your own computers?
These
No.
2 computers out here at the circulation
He's
desk
talking about his
that are
own.
used 7,000 hours a year
Yes.
for the past 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
Ron, if it's that minimal amount of money, I say we just have Joanne order them, that's ridiculous,
Yeah.
that they have to go
Yeah.
through that on a daily basis.
Also, that-
This one doesn't even pay attention or listen to anything I have to say.
This
So
is the
I've
first I'm
had it
hearing
up to
about it.
here with this. I'm
No,
done.
Ron, stick with us.
Thank you for
I'm getting
letting us know.
very angry
Please.
and upset about this.
I know you are, but please, you have to bear with
It's no
us.
wonder people are leaving. Now we kind of understand.
I hope it's not because of this, because this is the first, this board,
All
because
right.
this is the first we've heard about it here. Me,
Of
myself.
course, it's the
Me
first
too,
time.
I've
I've been
never
talking
heard
about this for a year now.
Well, it wasn't passed to us. But
Now
we'll take
one
care of it,
person
don't worry
has
about it.
passed that down.
Sooner
And
than
I will
later.
tell you, and Natasha will go look it up probably tomorrow when she's calling, there was some computers ordered, because I asked for the computer.
I remember there was something, but I
They
don't
probably
know.
got them up in the administration, that's where
Could
they're
be.
sitting
Could
up
be.
there, yeah.
Oh, we took it out.
We'll take care of it, don't
We're
worry.
gonna take care of it,
I mean,
Ron.
if they're using those computers to check out the
If
books
he
and doing
leaves,
everything.
then you're in trouble, everyone.
Wow.
Well, if the others left, then that left us in trouble too. If all of them were to leave, we're sucked. Yeah.
Okay, but for $2,500, the computers that he's been begging for over a year, that's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous.
And those are,
Those are the ones that are checking out the books for the people.
Those,
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are
They
looking
use
at
it.
their.
those are the ones that are right here on the
Those
table
are
right here
old
against
ones.
these windows.
No, no.
No,
The ones
these
that
are
they're
behind
using
their
there.
desk, in
On the desk.
circulation, making
Circulation.
library cards.
Circulation.
looking up
Oh,
old
they're,
computers. They're
so-
frozen, they're freezing up on them, they can't
They
use
need
them.
So it's Intel 5 and now.
Yeah, well, that I understand, yeah.
We're not-
I-
no, it's just
it just-
9, and like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we don't have to go to that, it just has to be purchased, but I don't know who will purchase it. I mean, if you go with a company, they're probably gonna charge us to go and get the computers for them. Or just go in a Best Buy and get, they can do
I thought that sometimes as businesses, we can get
What? I don't know.
as businesses, we can get breaks, or through Microsoft or something like that,
They order everything from Amazon, order them from Amazon for prices.
Best Buy has the best deals.
Sylvia,
with the
I'm gonna
deals.
tell you something, if he wants to resign, then I will go in my car tomorrow to Best Buy and put it on my credit card and wait to get reimbursed. That's ridiculous. Those patrons need to renew their memberships, sign up for library cards, check out.
I'm with you, I'm with you. I
Okay,
give him,
okay.
I would give him
Not aware of
anything.
it.
This is the first I even heard of anything
Me
like
too.
this.
Give him anything I would give him anything he wants.
That's it. I've never seen
Absolutely.
it.
Oh
It's
my
not
God,
like it's
you
patrons
get
computers, because, I mean, if two are not working, there's another six. You know, this is that they're working on it all the time. Thanks.
All right, let's do the 2002 library survey. Okay, Adult Service Department Head. Okay, so it's broken down to different categories. I probably should have a copy of this. By budget category, so if we fall under there, population size.
She's looking at, so we are comparing ourselves to, let's say, Corwin or Oak Park or something like that.
Right, if you want to just go ahead and pass this around, unless you want me to make copies for everybody.
No, just tell us what you see
It's
there.
gonna be around $25, $26 an hour.
Well, as you can see here, I'll show it to you. So it's based on the three categories, the budget,
Yeah,
budget,
yeah,
population,
okay.
and employee
Alright, so
size.
she was making
So
57
if you want
too.
to go, there's, it's broken down to medium,
Yeah. She was making
25, 75, et cetera.
27.50 an hour.
Usually this is the average here.
Mhm.
It was all broken
Medium
down
range,
before,
so
but that was
we
way too
fall,
much,
I
and that's what
believe
he
this is
left.
our budget
For
range.
years, I mean,
So
that's,
between
where do you
28
go from there? You're gonna make more than the director
This is,
eventually if you stay
our
around.
population, if I'm correct.
And she wasn't there.
So it's
She was not there
29
full
to
year.
30,
You can
and
just
our
be
size
busy,
is,
they're not
well, right now we're
gonna
looking
be
at 24. So usually what I like to do is I take these three
Mhm.
and I get an average.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so, well, you've got 28.
29, and then the 25.
Oh,
So
okay.
usually I do an average between the three.
Okay. So,
But again, this is the average, I'm talking about average. This
so
is the
so we'd be
median.
looking about
He will take
26
the
or
credit card
something
himself
like
and
that.
drive himself to
26 or
Best Buy.
27.
Redirect.
Okay, but it looks like here, average for a head, if I'm, is around $26 to $27 an hour.
What, that's what she was getting.
Average, right?
That's
This is
an
the
average.
average. The
For
medium
median,
is
we got
29,
30,
30, and then 23. So it's usually what I like to do.
Well, it depends on how many years
How big the
qualifications.
no, how
and
big
stuff
the
like
library is
Well,
too.
right, it
that.
depends
So
on,
26 is this much a
it
year.
depends on the, our budget.
So,
We have different budget categories, and then about our population and the library size. So,
median is a little bit higher. They got 29, 30,
I think starting at 48,000,
48.
based
Oh,
on, yeah,
oh, okay.
48,000
Gotcha.
at starting based on your qualifications.
see here.
I think that's a good number, because you still have some wiggle room to go up if you have to.
How much?
That would
40,
be first.
I just did a merge and I
There will be
forgot.
so much
Okay,
more-
I just did, I was figuring it out, and I swear to God, I just forgot.
Okay.
52 divided by
Yeah, we
40.
do the same.
It was
That's when you compare
2308
yourself
for starting,
to
on the low end. Or if you want to go to 49,
No, you got at least
Yeah,
50.
It said, well,
so 25, wait, $25, not $2. But I don't think anyone's gonna work for $2. That's not right. 25 times 40 weeks. So 52,000 is $24. So if we start 50,000 and up, right?
I don't know.
Wait, what did you say?
50,000.
I don't know, I don't think it's gonna do it.
It's 50,000 and starting at 50,000 is 24 and up based on your qualifications.
So 50,000 is $24 an hour.
Yes.
Okay.
But we already know, I mean, we don't know, never mind, Sylvia, I'm not gonna say about,
Okay, well, she has to post something.
We could do starting at,
Starting at
starting at 50 and up based on qualifications.
15 and up, depending on our qualifications.
It's only $1 an hour.
The what?
It's only $1 an hour more.
No,
No,
this
no,
is just
our
this is posted.
This is for
We're not
posting.
giving the other us this. We're not giving us this. This is just to make it
This
posted
is just a
legally.
posting on the internet. This is
just
not
to
for
post it.
We have to
us.
post it. And
We
then,
have to post it. If we post it to
So we're
our
posting at
website,
50, and then we decide, depending on the candidate, what we wanna go with,
Okay, I'm not,
50.
okay, I'm.
we're getting that,
Yeah.
don't worry.
Okay,
We're all on the same
it's just
board.
to post it
I'm
to
very
make it
concerned.
legal.
Okay, I'm just
No,
concerned.
don't be concerned, we have to post it legally. If we didn't have to, I would say don't post it. But Joanne says we have to post it.
Yeah, I know we have to, it's not, yeah, I understand.
Otherwise, please, believe me on this one. It's not shady business, okay?
Okay, okay.
I promise. Okay, so that's done. So what about the board vacancy?
Okay, so now-
Oh, we didn't vote.
We gotta vote to post it, right?
Okay,
We gotta
this is
vote to post it,
post, this is.
and then
Popular
It's starting
services,
at 50.
starting at 50,000, okay. Okay. Debbie, are you,
we need a motion.
yes,
I'll make a motion to starting salary of head of popular services position at
And
50,000.
to post it.
And post it.
yeah, very good.
And where, are we doing it at Rails?
You will post it at Rails.
Okay.
And
And who's second?
Dominican?
Me.
Oh, okay, Natasha. All right, Debbie,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Natasha,
Yes.
Sylvia,
Yes.
Marge, yes, Edgar,
Yes,
okay.
that's good on that one, right?
Okay, so this is gonna be on closed session, correct?
Board vacancy,
Board vacancy?
or is it still?
Are we signing the interim? You said we could do that in public.
Okay, yes, that we could do in public also.
So this is not,
Okay.
nothing's closed,
Still closed.
right?
Correct.
We didn't have a
Not
close.
yet.
The whole meeting should be closed. Okay, so now we need to make a motion to assign or to nominate the interim head of popular services
No, appoint.
position. Appoint.
Okay.
What did I
Okay,
say?
so I make a motion to appoint Sonia
As interim
the
head
interim head
of
of
popular.
Popular Services.
Sylvia, come on, now's your time.
Yes.
Second.
Do we
Wake
have
up.
I'll second the motion.
Oh,
No, I don't think,
okay, who seconded, who,
I seconded it.
Sylvia seconded it, okay.
Three times.
Debbie,
I know.
yes, Sam,
Yes.
Natasha,
Yes.
Sylvia,
Yes.
Marge, yes, Edgar,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, do we have any board candidates?
Do we have anybody,
No one submitted any applications.
Okay.
What a surprise.
I have two people that are kicking it around, and I told them if you have 5 hours to shit away, you can come too. But I said, no, please come, look at the meetings or whatever you want to do. Come in the library. I don't know.
and that is posted, I think I've seen that posted
Yes.
on the door.
It's on the doors and it's on the
Website.
website.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and while you were gone, I would just like to say that Ron came in here and he needs 2 new computers tomorrow. I'm making a motion that's outside the agenda because it's not a lot of money.
It's an emergency.
It is an emergency and we're voting on it.
They can't work like that.
Well, I have no idea where, I don't know how to order 2 new computers. I don't
Okay,
know
well
where to go.
then,
to
do you
get
have the
new
credit
computers.
card available? The
Yes, I
library
do.
credit card?
Yes,
And whose name is on it? Stickney-Forest Library?
it's under the library's name.
Yeah,
Then Ron can have it and go to Best Buy, or Ron could go on the computer if he can get on his desk, and go on Best Buy or wherever and buy.
tell him to go buy whatever he
emergency.
needs.
Yeah.
He will know better than us what to buy.
Yeah.
If he wants to go in his pocket and get reimbursed, I vote we do that. However way it means Ron can get 2 new
Well,
computers.
I thought we couldn't use our own credit cards.
Well, this is an emergency because apparently he's been asking the previous administration and yourself for over a year for 2 new computers
They
and
can't
have
work.
someone look at it.
I don't have the authority to do that.
Okay, but
So-
for a year, this
Well,
board is the
okay,
first time we
wait a
do
minute.
this.
So don't put it on me.
Today you have the authority, he has the authority,
Yes,
get it done.
immediately.
Use the
If he
credit
works in the
card.
morning,
Use the credit card.
send him in a Best Buy in the morning, first thing in the morning.
You could probably order online.
Hold on,
Fast
whatever,
to pick it up right away.
whatever he wants.
Oh, that's right, that's true, so.
Yeah. If he doesn't know how to set it up,
Whatever.
No,
the
they'll,
text
they can,
service-
let him, if he just, yeah, they'll set it up for him.
that's why you have
Get
text
it.
services done.
Get it done.
OSG, whatever the name is.
Nerd squirt, nerd squad, nerd squirt.
Is it OSG?
Yeah, but is that, okay.
What are you thinking, what are you thinking, Marge?
No, is that what, is OSG our troubleshooters for all kinds of things?
They're not gonna troubleshoot an
Yes.
8-year-old computer, throw him in the
No,
garbage.
It's not the-
they already did. They already went in there and they did what they had to do to speed
still
up the
not
process. They did that this week.
No.
No, if he gets the nerd squad in here, they will transfer the information from the old computers to the new computers, and they will be running in an hour. So just have them go to, get it
she
to
knows
Buy
that
and
stuff.
geek-
I
and
sure
geek
do.
And
Just
she
for
knows
kids.
Amazon too a lot, I like that.
Okay, no, is this SOG, is that?
OSG?
Whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they're here for.
Okay, so they're here to do, when we have problems to troubleshoot.
Correct.
If there's,
But
If
not
somebody
from,
gets-
not from the daily running of of that kind of computer, no.
Yes, because some things they can help you like just from calling them online, they can help you from there. Sometimes they have to come in person.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I know it's
It's
hard.
hard, it's very hard.
Cause the door got closed, that's why.
Well, if you can
We're
open it
not
up.
here
Yeah.
This one over
Trying to kill
here.
us here slowly.
Okay, good, that one, I get this one.
Nice to be old, you don't have that problem.
I am a
I know.
one problem. I used to be cold all the time and now I'm like hot flashing or
He's right there,
something.
Claude.
No, there's not too much oxygen.
Okay, so Marge, I think I understand what you're saying. Even if we go pick up the new computers, does that OSGV have to be connected to that computer?
No.
No,
I'm
what I'm
telling you, no.
saying is, Mark was here and could handle all that nitty-gritty stuff. Is this outfit going to do what Mark did and all
Yes.
this nitty-gritty little,
I'm sure if we
Yes.
pay them, anyone will do anything you want.
Or you.
well, that's.
But also, I'm telling you that if you go to Best Buy, you buy a computer from Best Buy and you have them come and install it, all they do is transfer the information from boot to boot to boot, and then
And that's
it's
it,
running,
done.
up and running.
Yeah,
So it's all the same.
End of discussion. They don't charge you for that.
yeah.
Especially the things that
Okay.
they have for checking in the books.
Guys, can we just agree to this in the morning, let Ron do what he has to do?
Yes,
If he wants
absolutely.
to call the OSVG, beam, let him do
Whatever.
that. Whatever means he needs to get those computers, are we all in agreement that
Absolutely.
Ron's gonna be doing
Yes.
that? There's gonna be 2 brand new computers there as soon as he can get them.
Yes.
Yes.
Marge?
Yeah.
Okay. So Joanne, can you please let him know
Yes.
that immediately before he,
In the morning.
his
Close
head
the
is
gas.
Whatever Best Buy opens, I think it's 10, but it's 10 line over there.
I don't, that's not right. I don't know how we didn't know about that. I didn't know about that.
Certainly didn't know about it,
No.
and I've talked to Ron 100 times, he's never said a word to me.
But then
Obviously,
nothing
he's
was
not
brought up
running
to
a
us
complainer,
either.
right?
Did she say anything to you?
No.
No, if he had said something to you or said something to me, I know it would have been
He spoke to
taken
me
There's
care of.
certain
Yeah.
things you have to
the
get done.
Wi-Fi going up to the server. That was the only thing.
There
we
are
talked
certain
about.
things that are important here that do constitute emergencies. That is one.
That's
of
an
them.
emergency as far
Nobody's
as I'm
arguing
concerned.
about it,
Right.
so.
Yes.
Well, it'll be taken
Session.
care of.
Okay,
Board vacancy, nothing, right?
We don't have a board vacancy,
No.
right?
okay.
Uh,
All right, well then,
wait, we're not doing litigation,
Okay, now we go into closed session.
so,
Do we
We're
have,
not
do we
doing it?
have, do we have information?
oh, we don't have a closed session now.
We're not doing litigation because Tiffany couldn't attend, but we do have another closed session to deliberate trustee candidates.
But we don't have.
We don't have them.
So we're not doing no closed
So we're
session.
tabling both of those.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Oh my God, wait, wait a
So
minute.
real fast, what Tiffany was saying is, and Natasha could maybe say something better, no one ever called from the litigation, so they don't know anything more than they told us last closed session.
Oh, good.
Basically, so there was no update. The update is no update,
So no session.
right.
Good, okay.
The update is no update for now, and everyone could go home and eat dinner. Maybe, hang on.
My cat is gonna
Anything
be
else?
so happy.
I make a motion to,
She didn't like it last time because she didn't get to eat until very, very
do
late.
we have to
She
make a
was
motion to
really
adjourn the
mad.
meeting?
Yes.
Yes,
I
please.
made it,
And I'll second it.
8:27.
Oh my God.
8:27 is a miracle!
A miracle
I
of
thought it was gonna be
miracles.
less than 2 hours, going to it.
Oh my God.
5 and a
Hey,
half.
and we had
What is
two
it?
presentations. We can get this thing down to 2 hours in no time.